Deja vu all over again. You better run, Sandy.
Oh no, the headlights are on! Bryce Remsburg sprinting along!
Go, Bryce!
The Lambo leap in Jacksonville.
Oh my God!
The Jaguar leap now.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Yes! You just made the list!
Brock Lesnar.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Stuart Van.
And I am Joshua Plummer.
And yes, we're back, funny enough, not to do a WWE pay-per-view, to do a AEW pay-per-view. It's got to be one of the first times we've done it, like a full-length one, like together, surely.
I always thought we did one. I thought we did Double or Nothing or All Out, unless we just touched upon it during one of the other reviews we did for WWE.
I think we did. We do that sometimes, where we just sort of like touch on like events if we can't do full-length ones.
We certainly discussed some of the best matches from the previous year, and AEW were some of the matches from AEW were shortlisted for our matches of the year for 2019.
Yeah, but I'm sure this is so this is like the first time we've done a whole like just review on one AEW pay-per-view.
So something different for our regular listeners and our new listeners. If you're a new listener to the Josh and Stu Wrestling Podcast, hello, welcome.
Oh, hello. Yes.
Thank you very much for listening. And that's the point where they tune out.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay, we've done the plug. We've been nice. Now, there we go. That's all we need. 10 minutes, done. 4 minutes, done. Send a podcast. You don't want to talk about the event. It's fine. But obviously, we're talking about AEW Double Nothing. The second Double Nothing for obviously last year's 2019. I think it was one. Mm-hmm. I think it was like their second, like first big.
That was their first pay-per-view under All Elite Wrestling. The first kind of event, which it was run by Cody, Young Bucks, and Kenny, was All In, obviously, and then around it was New Year's Eve, New Year's Day is when they announced All Elite Wrestling, and Double or Nothing was the first ever pay-per-view. So happy 1 year anniversary to AEW.
I know, it's been a year.
Yeah.
I remember the announcement. I remember like it was like, because some people put like when we put 19 like sort of like announcement, like big like moment of the year. Everyone was like, yeah, it's AEW being announced, because it's been a game changer, but by far. I forgot what it was like to have an I've never had an alternative to wrestling until now, and it feels so refreshing and so good. WWE is not the greatest at times, and obviously AEW is just it's made some mistakes, but it's still, I mean, it's been pretty solid for last year, wouldn't you say?
It has been solid. There were a couple of issues. Obviously no company's perfect. And I'm sure they'll fix and address those issues, unlike WWE, who keep running into the same problem over and over and over again, one step forward, two steps back. But I'm sure AEW are going to address a couple of issues, and I think they did with this pay-per-view, and there was only like one or two kind of peeves that were there, that were prominent. Even if it was only like the one singular mention, it's like, okay, you know, that needs to be addressed, that needs to be fixed. But otherwise, they try to address and fix those issues. And I think, for the most part, they succeeded.
Yeah, I mean, what AEW always seems to be this kind of company that feels like it actually listens. I mean, a perfect example I can think of, top of my head, is like, what was it, the Nightmare family, when he had the whole Nightmare Collective.
Yes. And
they realised it just wasn't working. So they just dropped it.
Yeah. Right decision, I think.
Yeah, it's just like, in simple things like that, it's just like, yeah, it's not working.
Same with the librarians, but I knew why that didn't work, and we've definitely discussed this before. The librarian didn't work because they introduced this competition element of someone entering the competition as the librarian kind of gimmick, and the winner might receive a contract or a part of the show, whatever. But they actually gave it to a professional wrestler, like a friend of theirs, and I think that's why everyone instantly just disconnected.
Yeah, I mean, it just, to me, it's just sort of like a It's like it's a simple. The whole gimmick's quite simple anyway, in the sense of just the librarian's the arsehole, and the librarian and the sort of like assistant librarian sort of like she's sort of like, oh no, like saying sorry.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean to be an arsehole. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the Peter Avalon, Brandon Cutler storyline. Neither of them have won. Yeah, Peter Avalon keeps rubbing in Brandon Cutler's face like, you lost again. It's like, you didn't win either.
Well, this is why that kind of stuff is like why I like this sort of company so much, because it's like they feel like human beings. Like they actually act like, it feels like they actually got some character and allowed to have the freedom to act like characters.
Yeah,
and
they're chasing. And they're chasing the win, so because wins matter in AEW.
I mean, it definitely does. I mean, that ranking system obviously it's nothing new, in the sense of in some ways.
And it's not perfect either.
I mean, right at the start, I think I remember there was a Darby Allin got a title shot, or there was like Darby Allin versus like Jimmy Havoc, and it was like everyone's like, oh, but it's because they're top ranked. You look at the ranks, going, no, they're not. They're not even anywhere near. No. Why are they getting? Why is that match just random? But that was like early on though, so it's like they've definitely taken out the kinks of it. And also it really helps with like one example, one of the matches in this card that was for things that they were unforeseen. So they could use a sort of ranking system, sort of like at least make it sort of mean something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so obviously AEW do have like some sort of similar to like a pre-show type thing. It's called the only thing you can get on ITV4 that's free before you have to pay for it. And
that's a long title for what it's called.
Yes, it's very long.
AEW presents the only thing that's free to view on ITV4. Should we just call it the buy-in? No, what do you mean?
Yeah, so it's like for me that reminds me of like the old Shield, isn't it? It's like with the old Shield, like Strategic Homeland Intervention Division. They were like, should we just call it Shield? Sure, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Same thing, but the buy-in. Obviously, the only match they had on there was obviously, and as always, I don't know if it is just a thing. We just don't watch anything before the show starts. I mean, I don't, but obviously, this was it was an important one. It was a number one contender match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships with the best friends going against Private Party.
I thought this match would be on the main card then, if the number one contendership was up for grabs, surely.
Yeah, it's quite important in the sense. Obviously, it is, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a bit strange, but I guess they had to put. It's like anything, you got to put like a big match on the buy-in so people. Well, like it's like a teaser, isn't it? Sort of like if this is a good quality, you think, maybe I want to. I think it's just simple marketing in that sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's always fun to kick off for a tag team match, especially with these four guys, well known for their pace.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is. I mean, again, didn't watch it, but obviously, I think this match is like best friends. I don't think they've had a title shot yet, so.
No, so going in, best friends were, I believe, ranked first, and Private Party were ranked third. And so if Private Party won the match, they jump up ahead of best friends, and they take that number one spot.
See what I mean? Bit of rank system. Every match has meaning, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, the good thing about that is obviously, I don't think the last couple of weeks there hasn't been any really like tag team like championship matches. I think because I think Kenny's been out, if not injury or just not, and obviously I think Adam Page in that didn't return until like last week, I think, or the Dynamite before, I think.
Yes, Adam Page in kayfabe obviously went off to disappear into the woods for a bit and drink his own piss. If you watched Being the Elite.
Okay, that's different. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, different. Okay. I don't know what to reply to that one. But it's just that there hasn't really any tag. Normally it would be normally if it was anything we're not in the situation we're in, it would be criticised of they should put the tag team division and stuff more noticeably. But again, it's like we're not in normal times, so you can't really criticise them for that. But I mean, I think best friends, ironically was best choice, and because if them two going against Kenny Omega and Adam Page, it would be an amazing match because they're both in the tag team division in AEW is amazing. So
I think Trent had a match with Kenny Omega quite early on in AEW, I think, and that was entertaining. And obviously, I look forward to the interaction between Orange Cassidy and Kenny as well. That'd be quite fun.
Oh right, yeah. I think to be fair, that's a nice segue into the opening contest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, purely for the factor because he was involved in it.
Yes.
Basically they start out with the Casino ladder match, with the winner getting a future AEW World Championship match, where, let's be honest, it's basically a mix between Money in the Bank and the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
But the good thing is they're taking the best parts of both and sort of made it into something a bit unique. But yeah, I mean, obviously the whole attraction for this one was that obviously there was a mystery participant. No one knew who was going to be the ninth man.
Mm-hmm. And coincidentally, they came out last as well, as they always do.
Yep, because obviously you got to tease it as much as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was curious. But obviously, another thing about this, obviously they replaced Phoenix was supposed to be in this, but due to an injury, it was replaced by Joey Janela. That was probably not the same, but Joey Janela is quite like sort of high flying and sort of that kind of style. So
he's known for again very much kind of like Darby Allin, just putting his body on the line. Kind of a mix of, I guess, like Darby Allin and Jimmy Havoc. I guess like high flying, doesn't care about his body, will do crazy deathmatch shit, which Jim Cornette hates. But anything that Jim Cornette hates, I tend to love. So.
Pretty much. We don't like, as you could probably guess, we're not big lovers of Jim Cornette. He is funny, but
not a huge love of Jim Cornette. I mean, what he likes is very good, but it's just a closed-minded mindset. I guess wrestling can only be one particular thing. It's like it's not. We've watched. If you watch AEW, wrestling is all sorts of things, and you can combine all sorts of different genres of wrestling. There's high flying, like lucha libre. Big guys, there's comedy, catch wrestling, all sorts. There's no right and wrong, No,
it's because that's why wrestling lasts so long. It's like anything; it needs to adapt to survive.
Yeah.
It's like anything, but yeah, I mean, obviously, So obviously there was changes to this, so we didn't take this going into it. Obviously, you had Darby Allin, you had Colt Cabana. That I was quite happy to see that he's joined because I don't. Funny about Colt Cabana, all I know about him is he is a good wrestler. And obviously his podcast and the whole CM Punk thing, and that's pretty much. But I have to admit, I don't know like a lot of his matches. I don't actually know like his in-ring ability.
If you want an idea of how Colt Cabana, wrestles, go and check out his matches with Orange Cassidy. Which was, I'm not quite sure, it looked like it was almost like at someone's house, like in a backyard. Not like backyard wrestling, not hardcore or anything, but it just looked like it was like a summer party. There's that, and also his match with Toriano as well, which is very funny. I think that was a Ring of Honor Supercard. I believe it was. Very entertaining.
Okay, well, I just mean it's like most wrestlers, like known by name and no bits, but it's like really should. I have no excuse not trying to catch up with all these wrestlers, have I?
We're a wrestling podcast, and you don't watch wrestling.
I do watch wrestling. I just don't watch it. I don't watch it as much. I don't go. I don't try. I mean, how much?
I've got you stumped, Stu. I've got you stumped.
You've got me. Yeah.
Call yourself a wrestling fan. You don't watch wrestling.
Oh god, there you go. So you put it out on Twitter, they'd be like, "You're not a real fan." It's like, go on. Okay, so you're.
Why do you think we say "damn it, Stu"? Why do you think that?
Well, to be fair, you say it because it's catchy and it's good to blame me to not, it's easy to blame me. And to be fair, it's very catchy. Let's be honest.
It is.
So anyway, so Colt Cabana was in it. Obviously, Orange Cassidy was in it. Joe Janela, Scorpio Sky, Skip Sabian, and obviously
Kip
Sabian's in there as well. Yeah. And obviously the mystery opponent was Brian Cage.
Yes, the former Impact World Champion, accompanied by Taz, I love Taz, so it's good to see. It's happening a lot with AEW. A lot of the new stars are being accompanied by like legends, so Cody with Arn Anderson and Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts. But they're putting focus purely on the new guys, so that's good.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't feel like it's focused on them, but it just feels like they only are like changing the guard, you know. Like yeah, we manage these people because these guys are good. These guys are legit. So. But obviously that was obviously later on in the match. But I mean, the start of the match was. I mean, it was start of the match. Obviously, had the SCU. Was it a Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky started off? So that was like every man for himself type situation. Obviously, with the bit with they're both going for ladders at the same time. That was really cool. Just sort of like say, okay, we're both.
Yeah, they took the ladders in, then they decided, actually, no, we're going to wrestle, straight away. It's like, all right, let's actually duke it out here and see what happens. Obviously, that didn't help them out because 2 minutes later, we had the next entrant.
Skip Sabian. Obviously, I didn't know that he's now aligned with. He said, "What kind of wrestling fan am I?" Which was now aligned with Jimmy Havoc. I completely forgot about that happened. I wasn't even aware. No, it's
so Jimmy Havoc come up like, okay, why is he here?
Yeah, I got a bounce like when I saw like the promo package, but leading up to and doing like sort of like talking about like what they do before matches, like being like why they're going to win it. I'm just looking at his suit, like the bit with like the sort of like white suit with sort of like blood stains on it type thing, like sort of like stains on it. It's like. I'm liking it. I was liking that look. Kind of works for him. Sort of like he's smart and he's gentleman, but actually he's really messed up. But yeah, I mean, I was surprised. But at least he's doing sort of something. 'Cause to be honest, he wasn't beginning years of AEW in that first couple of months. He sort of was in it for a couple of months and he sort of disappeared. I don't know if that was to do with other commitments or anything like that, but at least he's doing something now. So
yeah, he was involved in a lot of hardcore matches as he usually is. That's his gimmick most of the time. He had that Crackerjack Barrel match, I believe it's called, with Joey Janela and Darby Allin, who were also in the match, which I believe Darby won that one.
Yes, he did.
I think that was leading on until the number one contenders match.
Yeah,
I think it was afterwards.
I think yeah, something like that. Yeah, but I mean, Jimmy, obviously going to have. Darby Allin. We've done a whole love. I mean, ever since you saw that match against Cody, I've been a fan ever since. To be fair,
absolutely.
But obviously, he was after he came in number 4. I think. Obviously, I'm going. Yes, obviously, he came in next and just basically went crazy as you expect from never say die attitude he has, and sort of like just balls to the wall. Sort of, he was sort of born for a match like this ladder match, I would say. Sort of his kind of like bread and butter, really, wouldn't you say? Sort of his kind of thing.
Yeah, it comes out all guns blazing, dives straight away to the outside, torpe suicida. Unfortunately, his kind of fast-paced, reckless kind of start to the match is his own downfall, pretty much. So he sets up for a big spot on the outside. He's got Frankie Kazarian lined up on the ladder. He gets to the top of this huge ladder. Even Jeff Hardy would go, Jesus Christ, that's high. He jumps off with a skateboard signature. Yeah, he lands on the ladder. Kazarian's not there. He falls, lands on his knee, and he's pretty much, unfortunately, I'm a massive Darby Allin fan. I want to see him in action most of the time, but he spends a lot of his time on the outside, just selling the knee. Pretty much, he takes a big spot, takes a big bump.
Yeah, I mean, you could sit there and say sort of that's good, obviously that's great, like afterwards, like it shows how much that took out of him in the entire match.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just sort of like it was like, there was glimpses, but he sort of was just just sort of like he had like a burst of energy, and then after that it just took him out of the match. But be fair, that was a cool spot though.
It was a very cool spot.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I forgot to mention just because it's like. Because it's like we're calling it used to it. So I'm liking that they're sort of using like the wrestlers and other people, like wrestling people there, sort of like to sort of try and make some sort of atmosphere there.
Yes, big shout as well, especially to Big Swole on the outside. She's just basically like wanting to start a fight with every single heel that was taking part in the matches, which is brilliant.
I love that. It's just like it's like one of the things. It was always starting with someone, and it was just like the old. What I love about it is just the old like sort of like thing people used to do when we were at school when they want to feel tough. They always have their two mates pulling them back, so that it's like I want to hit you, but I can't. And that's what they sort of felt like with her. It's like I want to slap you in the face, but I kind of can't because of social distancing. But
she's like the modern day equivalent of when the old women used to go and watch wrestling in the days of Giant Haystacks, Big Daddy, Mick McManus, and they'd try and hit the heels with their umbrellas and handbags. But the modern day equivalent, and they're badass.
Well, I was, to be fair, when you were saying that, I was thinking stunt nanny. From that, like, was it Dark Secrets of Wrestling? When it's sort of like, say, we're revealing the secrets of wrestling. It's like, yes, because we're all a bunch of idiots and we don't know. It's like, oh, she looks like a fan, but what you don't know is she's a stunt nanny.
Stunt nanny. It's stunt nanny.
Trust me, find out she's actually a wrestler. She's wrestling since her 90s and she's just there, It's like... Oh, anyway, we're sidetracking, but yeah, basically, it was sort of like I kind of like the it felt like atmosphere, and it kind of could, at least you knew someone was actually watching it, and it just felt like an actual show,
yes,
in some ways. But yeah, obviously after that, obviously number 5, we had Orange Cassidy. I've got to be honest, I'm loving the whole like having to go to our 6 Excalibur, sort of like. So what's the rules again?
So you got to climb the ladder, and his face is like, oh, for God's sake! It's like, that's just so much effort. Climbs into the ring, he gets a ladder. Well, first things first, he tries to reach for the giant poker chip, and obviously he can't reach it. Gets the ladder, just lies it down, stands on it.
And just looks at it for like 2 minutes. Like, okay, so I lift it up. Do I move it? Or like, it's. I think I loved the reaction. I think it was like Excalibur. Like, sort of like when he asked him at the beginning of it, it's like we told him 20 times how this match works, and he's like, he really is
a lazy bastard.
Oh, it works though. Oh god. But yeah, I mean, it's and obviously and then obviously Colt Cabana came out and obviously sort of like, oh, I'll help you, mate, and it's obviously like it was all a ploy to get him. But yeah, I mean, I just love on Cassidy was like. It's one of those things. Is like his character's always like it doesn't always work, but 9 times out of 10, it does work. I think it's like in this match, I wish he'd done a little bit more, but I could say that about a lot of people in this. It just felt there were just too many people in there. I would say. Like,
it got cluttery at times. It felt like it was getting to around about this kind of stage of the match where. There's a lot of people on the outside kind of waiting for spots. It didn't feel like it flowed kind of naturally. It didn't feel very kind of instinctive. It's like spot. There were a few gaps there. It was a bit clunky, a bit slow kind of at times from here.
Yeah, it kind of went. It's like I always watching that match. Obviously, I didn't really know who won it, but was in it. But watching it when he came in, it was obvious the way he was booked and the way it was like sort of just throwing people around. You were looking at going, he's probably going to win it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we know we've got hindsight, but watching it, it's like the way it was presented. It's like in that match you were looking at it going, he could win it. He could win it. I don't know if it's just because I haven't watched it a couple of weeks, or maybe it might be me. But it was just for the match. You just going, okay, he could. That could cool match. That'd be a cool match. But like when Brian Cage came in, he just like the way the suplexes, the way he was throwing people around. You were like, it's a good chance. He's probably going to win it.
Yeah, he was given the monster treatment. So everyone's Orange Cassidy jumping on his back was a good highlight, and Brian Cage just kept climbing the ladder. So they all had to team up on him, bury him under the poker chips and the barricades. There's an awesome spot where Joey Janela delivers rolling Death Eye driver to Orange Cassidy, landing right on top of Brian Cage, which must have crushed Brian's rib cage.
You could say, unless it goes with ridiculously. To be fair, he was on the layers of stuff, so it probably didn't hurt as much. But yeah, it's like you was thinking that it's like, oh, poor guy. It's like he stuck all this stuff. And then some inconsiderate gits decide to sit there and do like a Death Valley driver on top of him. It's like what bastards. But yeah, I mean, again, he said it got a bit like over the top when he sort of like had like obviously Jimmy Havoc started coming back, and then it got Penelope Ford got involved, and she got like trying to like help Skip Sabian, and sort of then she got chucked a ladder, and then she came in, and then obviously what's his name, the guy, another person for the Jurassic Express.
Marco Stunt came out. It got very, very clunky. Yeah, a lot of people coming in. Even the best friends came in as well. Lots of bodies.
It's turning into a bit of a clusterfuck is probably the word, but yeah, it was just too many people in there. But yeah, I mean, but the moment we said Brian Cage came back, and sort of like you knew he was going to win, and I mean. And he probably deserved to win, to be fair. I mean, obviously I forgot to say, like, we forgot to mention that Luchasaurus is in this match, and he did take part. So just before anyone goes like, oh, I'm sure you forgot someone.
Yeah, he had some lovely moments of standing off with Brian Cage. Like, for both big guys, they're very agile. They do a lot of kicks and knee strikes, which is very fun. But you look at them and go, oh, you wouldn't expect them to do that. You just expect them to do like big color power moves, power bombs, power slams, all that sort. But no, they're very agile and very athletic.
Yeah, I mean Luchasaurus, it's funny. It's like for me, it just feels like I don't know if he's lost his heat a little bit, or like a little bit of momentum. Might just be because obviously he had his injury and stuff, but it's like I don't know. It's just he was like when it comes to the Jurassic Express, it was sort of like that kind of group is more built towards like he's going to be like the breakout star. So like he's going to be the one, but then at the moment it seems to be they're really booking, like obviously when we get into that later, was it Jungle Boy? Like I'm thinking they're booking him stronger. I don't know. I mean, obviously again this is coming from like outside looking in, so but it just feels like they're just taking Luchasaurus, just like Luchasaurus is just putting like a random 9, like putting this match sort of for the sake of like putting numbers. Because
they've got a lot of popular, people's kind of favourites in the match: Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, Luchasaurus. They're all in the match. So they're there to get people interested in this match, and see if their favourite can get a title shot. But I expected some kind of some heel to it. It's like, Joey Janela, like potentially, but then ideally you want to see something new and fresh to go up against Jon Moxley. I mean, I'd love to see the rematch between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. That'd be brilliant, I think. But I think Darby, now he's taken a few losses, he needs to build a bit of momentum and learn from this loss. Yeah, but the beautiful thing about it is it's just like it's again the ranking system. It's more visible. It's like you can visually see it. It's like you can sit there instead of like someone said, oh, you need like a couple of wins against someone big. You can say, well, all he needs is, you can always look at the table and go, okay, he can 2 more wins and he's back up there. I think that's why the ranking system works brilliantly, because it just like it gives that kind of like the sort of sport element of it, where it's like you could like when you watch football or rugby, when you look at tables, you go, oh, if he wins that match, he can move up this. It's simple. It's just nice, but yeah, obviously we got near the end, and obviously we had the bit where basically Cage, I don't know what he was trying to do at first, but it was I've never seen this before when. He put the ladder on top rope, and he put Darby Allin on it, and he sort of like pressed, like shoulder press,
lifted on top of his head and just chucked him out. I mean, that looked. I mean, I know he gets punishment, but it didn't look. It must be like, I mean, concussion or something, because obviously he didn't land very well in that at all. But I mean, that's an interesting way to end a match, because it's like I've never seen that before. I mean, that's how unique that was. It was really awesome, to be fair. Well, in the sense of, awesome moves like that. But obviously everybody else was taken out at that point. Obviously just climbed the ladder, and he won the casino ladder match, and will probably be next challenger for obviously for match Jon Moxley. And obviously and yeah, I mean I've said a huge fan. He does things in the ring that some of his size shouldn't be able to do. And if he's going against Jon Moxley, it's that's a recipe for like a great match there. So, but. When it comes to the match, it just for me it felt like it started off. It was maybe a bit too long, and it just felt a bit over the top and a bit clunky. But it was still enjoyable.
Yeah, too many bodies, and too many bodies either doing like so much. I can't even follow like what's going on. It's like when you watch a tornado or a traditional tag team match with like 4 teams. Like, sorry, who's legal? I have no idea. I can't follow this at all. Or when you've got like loads of bodies and they're just on the outside and they're just lying there. It's like, you're perfectly fine. Why don't you just go in? I get it, you're waiting for like an opportune moment, but why can't you just get up and go in? Get involved. Make it entertaining, because it just looks like you're waiting. You're waiting for a spot rather than waiting for an opportune moment to capitalise.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It's just like, it's... Obviously, we're not saying it's a bad match at all. It's really entertaining. It's really good. It had some cool moments, and it was fun to watch. But it's like anything. You would just sort of... I don't know. I was expecting a bit more, but that, again, might be more just me than actual the quality of the match. But it was fun. I think the right person won, and it sets up an exciting match in the future. So it kind of ticked all the boxes if you have what it was supposed to achieve, I guess.
It doesn't, not a huge concern, but it relates to as well with Brodie Lee, so Jon Moxley's latest challenges. So we're going Brodie Lee, and then eventually it will be Brian Cage. Both these guys have... Well, Brian Cage has only just come in, but it will go down a similar route with Brodie Lee. He came in as this big kind of cult leader, even though Brodie Lee's, or Mr. Brodie Lee, rather, he hates the word cult, apparently, even though they are a cult. They go in, they build him up for 1 month or 2. He's there for a very short period. Yeah, he gets some wins. But you'd think surely there'd be some people in there who've... I mean, I get it why Cody isn't getting a title shot because of that stipulation. He can't challenge for the world title. But you look at like MJF, who's unbeaten. The only time he's ever lost is in a tag team match, and he wasn't pinned. You're thinking surely it'd make sense for it'd be MJF to be next, especially when they built him up. When they built him up to beat Cody, it's like, oh, that's big.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in this situation, it's they've saved their bacon with the sense of maybe they're doing a situation where they don't make a mistake WWE do, sort of like with the sort of like build them up for a month and then sort of like that's it, and then just toss them to the curve and then get another.
Yeah, but they kind of did that with the. We're going to that, but I think they kind of did that with Moxley and Brodie. I'm concerned that that's the kind of route they're going to go down with Brian Cage as well. They'll build him up. Moxley will overcome the odds unless they really want to push Brian Cage and think he's the next guy.
Yeah, but I think it's the good thing. I think I don't want to get technicalities here, but I guess it's just like trying to build like he's got a title shot, but at least Brodie Lee's probably going to get another shot at some point, and then obviously you've got MJF that's been like on top and all that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe just doing the thing where you should do, where you have multiple challenges. Maybe, but
yeah, that's what I mean. I'm just talking about. Obviously, you want different feuds and again going against different people. But when you've got people who've been there for a longer period of time, have got more wins overall and have a better record, yet someone who's only been in for a month has got maybe, say, 3, 4, 5 victories and they get the title shot, when there are people who've been there to be built up already, so people know who they are. They've been built up, they've been winning. Surely they should get the next title shot. And then spend the first few months of this new guy coming in, establishing himself, and establishing his character, establishing that dominance for a bit of a longer period. I get why they did Moxley and Brodie Lee, because there's a big buzz about him finally leaving WWE, and then obviously Moxley and Brodie Lee have that history in WWE as Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose. I get that. But I think they should have prioritised people who they'd already built up, because you could instantly just squash someone's credibility. I mean, look at Shayna Baszler, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just it might be a situation, but maybe it's supposed to be a long build. But maybe it's a situation. Again, it might be a situation because of the coronavirus thing. They need a match, and obviously normally they would still build it, maybe. And then maybe this was supposed to be a feud that was supposed to last like a couple of months or something. But maybe they just thought, okay, maybe just to get like a big part match, we'll put this together. Maybe, I don't know, because let's be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if the original plan was supposed to be Jericho, because the main of obviously. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk about that at some point. But yeah, I don't know. But to be fair, in this match in general, it was the right choice. But it'd be interesting to see what they do with it, though. I've got to be honest. But anyway, obviously we got that, and obviously now we're going to go. Wow, we're 39 minutes in, and we're going to talk about like 2 matches, possibly 1 match. Wow, we got to speed up.
Let's speed this through. I mean, our Money in the Bank review was, I think, exactly the same time or longer than the actual show. So.
Yeah, I think it's because we just. I guess, and for us, this is more of a catch up, more of a catch up than it normally is, than it would be if we just
Yeah, and plus we haven't talked about AEW a lot, so it's nice to actually talk about like how they're dealing with things like booking wise, things they can improve on, and everything else, as well as the matches themselves.
Yeah. Because obviously, we do talk about a company that we don't like too much, WWE. We talk about it a lot. we love AEW. So, but anyway, obviously, next match was the MJF going against Jungle Boy. But yeah, I mean, this match is sort of like, it felt like the old days with like when you're watching like the old WWF ones, where you're watching matches of future stars, and you're like. And this sort of kind of match like proves that these two are going to be future stars in the company. And
bear in mind, these 2 guys like combined, their experience is 9 years. Like MJF has 5 years wrestling experience, Jungle Boy has 4, and the match they put on was probably like you could count it as maybe the best match of the night if you don't count the Stadium Stampede as a technically a match. This was very entertaining. I loved what they were doing. In this match, I thought they had great chemistry. Yeah,
I mean, just like sometimes in some matches it can get clunky, but it never felt like that with this one. I mean, I like. To be honest, I loved the bit with the. Obviously, we've got to talk about the whole thing where was it MJF being the ultimate heel, sort of playing the whole like, I've got an injured knee, and they even got. I loved the bit was like they even got the doctor in, and everyone was like, oh, this is legit, and he just gets up and attacks Jungle Boy from behind. You're like, oh, you. It's like he's like playing with us. It's like, you bastard.
They both went up to. I love the point where they kind of got into like a stalemate as well, where they both ended up, I think, bridging as well and just slapping each other in the face.
I've never seen anything like that before. It's just like was it like doing like a sort of submission and it's sort of like countered on the handstands and attacking each other. Yeah, it was like, I mean. It was just one of those things. It just felt like they worked off each other very well. Obviously, because Jungle Boy is obviously going to, because of his size and sort of like his height, he's always going to get he's always going to be the underdog.
Yep.
In matches like this, and obviously you got JF that thinks so highly of himself that it's not even. It's kind of hilarious. But I mean, again, cool stuff in here. He had that sort of like a lot of Canadian destroyers, in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like was it? Yeah, like one in the ring, and then you had that. Was it that one on the hardest part of the ring? The apron.
There's an amazing. It was amazing move. What a maneuver! Amazing move. Versus Rana, onto like not just the highest part of the ring on the apron, but like on the edge of it. If you remember, I think there was a match between like Naito. I think it was Naito and Ibushi, and Ibushi just like clipped like his head like right on the corner of the ring. It's like, how are you not concussed? That's ridiculous. I think it was that match. But MJF like hit his head, got back to his feet, and then fainted, and it had this glazed look like, oh yeah, he could be out cold here. It was fantastic sell. Brilliant.
I gotta be honest, brilliant. I mean, we're not even talking about that. What was it? We had that. Oh, that was it. Was it second rope sit down powerbomb? That was like by Jungle Boy. That, my God, that looked amazing. I mean, just like it's just like they got the impact moves right. Yeah. Like the matches you would know if there was a crowd there. Well, there was a crowd, but it wasn't like 20,000 people there. You'd be like, that'd be the sort of like the sort of highlight reel.
There'd be a lot of holy shit chants with this match.
Or This Is Awesome probably would be one of them as well.
This is awesome as well. I like towards the end as well. They had the kind of stalemate situation where they're all going for variations of schoolboys and roll-ups, and then at the end, Jungle Boy just gets caught out. MJF bridges himself up, gets his shoulders off the mat, and just uses his head as support. 1, 2, 3, like sneaky. It was clean, which was it's the annoying thing for the heel when the heel wins clean, but it's like, oh yeah, it's like you can't argue with it.
Well, to be fair, it's like, because you said like the roll-ups, they were using sort of like holding the tights type thing.
Yeah, but that one was like just technically brilliant. Like just caught Jungle Boy, like just grabbed Jungle Boy's arms like through his own legs, trapped his shoulders with his legs, bridged up onto his own head. 1, 2, 3. It's like, that's brilliant. You're an arsehole, but that was brilliant.
Yeah, but it's like yeah, that's what I mean. It's just like it's a good match. It says like Jungle Boy looks great. No one looks bad. MJF gets his win, so he's still unbeaten, but a complete dick. And obviously Jungle Boy looks great because obviously he's put an amazing match on. So again, maybe it's just like it's about taste and style, but it's like anything like the ladder match. It done its job. It ticked the boxes of what it needed to do, and it done it well.
It's a very good match.
I mean, again, it's just MJF. I mean, I'm a huge fan since day one, and obviously Jungle Boy, I'm starting to really get into because. He said they're booking him well. I'm liking the way they're booking him at the moment. So, like anything, they'd be sort of interested to see what they do with him. Obviously, with as well as now that obviously that again ties into the next match. That is the tournament final for the inaugural AEW TNT Championship match.
Yes, with the special guest enforcer of Mike Tyson.
Yes, I saw that. It was very. It was a bit of a left field choice. I mean, it's more of that sort of out of nowhere choice, kind of. You like Mike Tyson, like really, not in a bad way, but it's just like you wouldn't have thought it'd be a thing that you wouldn't have thought they would have brought someone. They would have brought like a wrestling legend, maybe. Yeah,
wrestling legend. It is Las Vegas, so I guess you want a big kind of sports star, and yeah, he is a sports star. Boxing icon.
But I mean, again, it's not a complaint. It's just it was more of my reaction. It was just like, okay, Mike Tyson, interesting, but it worked.
Mike Tyson was great in the match as well. To be fair, I mean, he's got professional wrestling experience, like storytelling experience. We're talking like Austin and Mike was at Mania, but from the get go, Mike Tyson comes out. He's got the title. Quick segue. What did you think of the title design?
It might take me a while to get used to. Maybe I mean it's good. I think it's a good design, but I think I don't know. It just decided it kind of looks similar to the Impact Wrestling World Title in the way it's designed a little bit.
Interesting.
Because that's got a similar design with the sort of like they got the title and then they put like they've got Impact on top of it, and obviously in that one they got TNT. So for me it looked like it reminded me of that sort of a bit more. So it's not a new design.
It just kind of looks a bit unfinished for me, and I think that was the case. I read somewhere, I can't remember the source at all, where it was something to do with. I think this is true, where they couldn't quite finish it enough because the current climate they couldn't get the certain materials from certain manufacturers, so they had to make do. So I guess some changes are going to be made to it. I like the side plates. But the main plate with the strap, black logo of just TNT, it looks a little bit lazy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, but I think you might be right in that. It might just be because obviously they couldn't have time to get materials. But they did. To be fair, they did acknowledge it on the TV, on the pay-per-view, when he said like that belt will look completely different when they put gold plate and stuff on it. So I kind of like that in the sense they did acknowledge it. So it's not like it won't be like the thing like. I think when it puts like gold plate, it looked quite good.
Yeah, I think so.
But maybe I was just expecting sort of something similar to their world title with the kind of like detail.
Yeah.
They put into that one, but it's not a bad design. Obviously, we've seen bad ones over the years.
Or maybe looking like the old WCW like television title. Or the ECW television title, because that's what it is effectively. The TNT Championship is the television title.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was fine. It was it's nothing. I just like anything you expect AEW more, but I mean, I think it's like as you said, it feels unfinished or sort of like this missing a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, but obviously the final of this one, obviously you got. Did you have? Obviously, you got Cody or Cody Rhodes, because apparently I've heard he's actually legally got his name back now.
Great. Another petty thing that WWE did. It's like, just give him his bloody name. God's sake.
I love that it's actually his name, but anyway, well, kind of, anyway. But yeah, so and then you got obviously debuting Lance Archer, that obviously is obviously, as you were saying, beginning of now managed by Jake the Snake Roberts. That was shocking to say the least when I saw it online. It's like Jake the Snake, like,
Jake the Snake.
What's he doing there?
And he's doing a cracking job, Jake the Snake, with his promos, building up Archer. He's doing some lovely work. Yeah,
but you expect nothing less than probably one of the best promo guys out there. You forget how good he was.
Yeah, going back slightly, because we were talking about Mike Tyson and how well he actually did in this match, like at the very beginning. Well, the Stadium Stampede had some absolutely hilarious moments. I think one of the funniest moments is when Mike Tyson was coming out, and he looked almost like a little bit lost. It's like, okay, I'm just here to present the title to these winners, as if I'm not quite sure who's fighting. I think I have like a rough idea, but yeah, whoever wins gets the title, and I'm going to present it. Okay, fine. He walks out onto the stage, and as he reaches there, Lance Archer's music hits, and instead of like slowly coming to the ring, Lance Archer just comes out. He's got this poor guy by like the scruff of the neck, and kind of perfectly timed with his music, because his catchphrase is "Everybody dies." When the music builds. And he's got this guy in this choke slam hold. He goes, "Everybody," and then as soon as it says "dies," he hits the choke slam and he lands like perfectly. Everybody dies, and Mike Tyson's face is just like, what the fuck? Who the hell is this guy? What is he doing? What is his problem?
I gotta be honest. That sounds like it's like you can't like rehearse that. It's sort of like, I think it's like that's the freedom it gives you. It's like even like his reactions are just like, okay, I just walked in. It's like I've walked into a situation like, okay, what the hell? Who are you?
Yeah, it's like I've fought some crazy motherfuckers in my time, but you are crazy. You are the murder hawk.
You're crazy, man. But yeah, obviously this was obviously Lance Archer is at this point was 5-0, so I think so. Sort of like he was undefeated as well, and obviously Cody, I think he's only had one loss. And obviously that was against MJF.
Going into the quarterfinals had a big build, and that played a factor into the story, and as well as for later on as well for what happened with Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes was in a match against Lance Archer. Lance Archer's just beating the crap out of him. Dustin's busted open. And Cody, he could have thrown the towel in, but he didn't. And the Rhodes just let Pride get the best of them pretty much. And Lance Archer just grabs Dustin's head, slams him into the rat pretty much. Everybody, including Dustin Rhodes, dies. Kind of like Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black, Money in the Bank. Just everybody dies.
Wait, nowhere to be found.
No idea where they are.
Well, we came back and then, yeah. But yeah, I mean, the booked him up to this match was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been a big fan of Lance Archer anyway since
he's showcasing the G1, because he was in the tag team. I think it was with Dave Boy Smith, the Killer Elite Squad. I believe that's right. And him as a tag team star, and then he had a singles one in that G1, and he was one of the new standouts, which is a great thing for that tournament showcased. I mean, that's how we grew to love people like Hangman Adam Page and Juice Robinson.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think I remember seeing him in the opening match against was it Will Ospreay? I'm sure it was. I think it was Will Ospreay. Yeah, and it was just like you expecting it to be sort of like his style would be like sort of because he's quite a big guy. Like he'd be sort of like that kind of style of sort of like big guy, big moves, but
and another big agile guy as well. Very similar to Luchasaurus and Brian Cage. They can move. They're quick.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. It's like again, he's doing stuff. Yeah, it's like making it. It's like you're saying like size. What size? Laws of gravity or like it doesn't work here or anything like that. It's just like my god. But yeah, I mean, again, it's like I didn't go into this match not know who he is, so that was good. But yeah, I mean, I mean, he got off to an amazing start. I mean, he's sitting there, was it first couple of minutes, like seconds, he hit the, was it black? Oh, what's that called? The blackout. His blackout finisher. It's basically like sort of like a, would I sort of say like it's sort of like a crucifix bomb going into like sort of wing angel type thing or something like that. It's similar or something like that, but it looks pretty awesome. But I love the way he just hits it off the bat, and then sort of Cody using his like veteran instinct, sort of like rolling out of the wing. But I gotta be honest, like he did get a lot more offense than I was expecting. Cody didn't do a lot. Like he did do a lot, but I was expecting it a bit more even. But it feels like Lance Archer would dominate most of this.
Yeah, he was throwing Cody like all the way around the ring, including outside the ring. There's a great shot where he throws him over the camera, which is placed on one of the turnbuckles or the turnbuckle posts. Lance Archer looks like dead into the camera and just laughs. You know, it's like, you're a sick individual, Lance Archer. He's just tossing Cody around everywhere.
It's insane. It's just like, it seems to be the situation. The story of this match was sort of like, just like this guy is a monster, and it's like Cody just can't like get the offense in. I mean, he had that moment early on in the match where he was trying to do his like disaster kick, and sort of like just Lance Archer just bloody like caught him with like a sort of like a tackle. Sort of like he has Cody's number here.
Yeah. So Cody has to fight dirty at some point, as well as his manager. So an example of Cody applying a crossface to Lance Archer, but also using his singular like dreadlock and putting that across his face, which I thought was very nice.
Yeah, I mean, it just kept touching his hair as well.
Yeah,
you know, like this is the problem. You got to not have long hair. It's easy to grab and use as a weapon against you. But
and Arn Anderson getting involved.
Well, again, it was a cool. Sorry, man.
That's right. Arn Anderson getting involved as well. So Lance Archer's walking the ropes as the referee is distracted by Jake the Snake. Arn just pushes the ropes. Lance falls off, and you think, oh, okay, that's quite a heelish kind of thing to do. But they've got to try and get they got to try and get the advantage. And then rightfully so, a referee comes out. I mean, this is smart. You know, this is like a sport. If there's bullshit going on the outside, a referee comes out. Hey, this thing happened. All right, you're out of here. And again, Mike Tyson reacting like, yeah, he definitely cheated. Get out of here, mate. See you later. I was like, okay.
I love his reaction in that.
Yeah,
I love his reaction in that. When he's sort of like, just like, the camera turns to him and he's just like, he sort of looks at him and goes, get rid of him. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't need cheating in this match, but you can't, I bet. But you forgot, there was a bit like before that though, that it's like, this went for this sequence where like Cody and Lance Archer were hitting all like the Legends moves. So you had Cody was hitting this sort of like the DDT that was notable by Jake the Snake Roberts. Mm-hmm. And then Lance Archer was hitting the spine buster. Arn Anderson
taunting the managers, very nice touch.
And then you had the Dusty Rhodes sort of like elbow, but
elbow.
And also hit was it Dust, and then Dusty Rhodes' finisher as well. Yep. Sort of, and a random Stinger Splash as well.
Yeah.
If that's not a hint that you might be in the company soon, I don't know what it is.
I don't know, maybe. Who knows?
But yeah, that Cody Carter was great, and it's just like, and then as you said with the whole like referee, it's like, my God, the referees have got smart.
Which is brilliant.
Using VAR right, you know, using VAR, you know, he's got an assistant in the back watching with the telly, you know.
Oh, we'll speak about VAR later on as well, because that makes an appearance. But and then Jake the Snake, as you expect him to do, comes down with his signature bag. Oh, I wonder what's in the bag. Obviously, his signature snake. Mike Tyson's not having any of it, and Mike Tyson steps up to Jake the Snake Roberts, and Mike Tyson's looking shredded. He's looking like the baddest man on the planet as he was some years ago. Scaring the crap out of Jake the Snake Roberts. Off he goes, and now the odds are even. Yeah,
and I love Jake Snape's just like, I'm not like when you got Mike Tyson like take his shirt off and he's looking at you going, yeah, you don't get involved. You're going, yep, I'm going to go the opposite direction. Yeah. You know, I'm going to go. Bye.
It's like, and this is a guy who's squared off to Hulk Hogan like Andre the Giant. He looks at Mike Tyson like, yeah, Mike Tyson's a scary dude. So yeah, fair enough. But like, all right, I'd like to have seen that and see if Jake the Snake have a little crack at Mike Tyson. See what that.
Yeah, but the guy. I mean, it's not like Jake the Snake Roberts getting any younger, mate. So
No.
I don't think that. I mean, it wouldn't be the greatest idea, but it would have been nice. I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it's sort of like that kind of distracted Archer.
Yep.
But I like sort of like the hit where he hit it, and then sort of then like kept it going, hit another one. Sort of like you got to take this man down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like I would have. Funny thing about this match is like Cody wins, so the kind of redemption thing kind of works because at the start of this tournament he had a really cool promo about it when he was sort of like he doesn't want to win this, he needs to win it.
Yes, it's the only thing he can win. Well, apart from he can win the tag as well, but
Yeah, but it's like he's sort of like he's sort of what kind of like road to redemption type thing. You could always say like sort of like he can't be the world title, but he can he can work his way up again. But I mean, you could put it on Lance Archer, but again, he doesn't. He looks amazing in this match. It's like, did he need it? He didn't need the title. Who needed it more? And it's the first TNT champion, and Cody can put some good matches on. So
I think based on what Cody has done throughout the whole year, like putting his body on the line, like having some like cracking matches and cracking feuds, and just signature moments like just diving off that cage, like that was absolutely incredible. Just moments like that go, yeah, I think you've earned that title for sure.
Yeah, he's worked his way. It kind of makes sense because it's like, again, Larchard doesn't need it like yet.
No.
I mean, he could win it like it could be like a quick thing where he wins it again. But again, he's done what he's done well. He's like, they built him up as this proper threat, and the good thing in this match is only really won because he obviously got distracted. But it wasn't like anything silly or anything.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it was nice. I mean, again, it was we talked about the title, but yeah, it was good. 20 minutes, 21 minutes ish, and it was just again good timing. It was again, it wasn't like you said. It probably isn't the greatest match ever, but it was solid. It was they got the moments right. Everyone looked great, and got to be honest, Mike Tyson. I would have thought was just there, kind of like it was quite entertaining.
Yeah,
so
he played his part well. I expected him to like actually just get involved and end up punching someone, but he didn't. He was just there. So all right.
Yeah, he was just joining it like everybody else. Just sort of like just the way he was sitting there when he was watching it was just like just lounging around with the title in his lap, like watching the match. I'm just here. They asked me to come. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. But yeah, I mean, good stuff. What they do with it, if they actually keep up the whole maybe do like the old defended it every week, maybe that would be really cool. Like sort of like a US title John Cena situation, but in AEW.
That'd be cool
because I think would just give that title, just build it up because it needs to be. But it would just give opportunities for great matches. That's what I think they're doing, but I don't know if it's going to be a normal title. It's going to have like some sort of stipulation to it where you have to defend it every week or something. I don't know.
Defending each week would be quite fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it just would be. I think that's what they're going to do because it was a TV title match. It's not a new concept. I mean, but it'd be nice to see, and be interesting to see if he's like a rematch, hopefully against Archer, or like he goes against somebody else. Hopefully, if they do a rating system for that as well, that would be quite cool. Maybe.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, if you want, you could always. I wish they do that thing. It used to be, was it SmackDown 2, when you used to be able to go in the title match, the title matches, and you can like look at like, and it was really cool. Like you go on the SmackDown you can go on the tag team titles, and it shows who's the contenders are, like rankings.
Ah, yes.
For each title. So I don't think I'd do it. Obviously, they are doing that, but it's just like, it'd be So it'd be interesting to see if they who's like in the ranking to go against him, like ranking wise for the title. So it'd be interesting.
Yeah, well, they'd be like exclusive. So do you decide, okay, I want to be in the World Championship rankings, or I can be in the television rankings? Maybe.
Yeah, well, if they build them up at the same sort of like importance.
Because tag team have their own rankings, and the women's obviously have their own rankings. So potentially.
Yeah. I mean, maybe just stating the obvious here, but I just I don't know. I like rankings. I like tables and all kinds of like sporting levels of intrigue. I don't know, but before
we go on to it, I just need to pop to the loo quickly. I'll be back.
I I think that's a nice segue for a break. Okay. Yes, and we're back. Obviously, Josh has just come back from his toilet break.
Don't need to go into detail.
Well, you did sort of say it.
Just say we had a little musical interlude. Don't have to explain why I disappeared.
No, it's recorded, mate.
Leave it to the imagination. Like, people have gone, maybe he's gone off on a massive adventure to try and cure coronavirus, or perhaps he's gone off to write some poetry, or save the world, or something. But no, he's got to have a poo. Just.
What's so weird about that?
Well, you don't need to go into detail. There's no. They don't need to know that. There's a lovely musical interlude. Let's talk about wrestling. Don't need to talk about my bowel movements.
I just said you went to the toilet. I just literally said why you left.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about going to the loo.
My God, man, what have you been? I've never seen someone be so annoyed about basically saying exactly what you just did, and you were completely.
Yeah, because they don't need to know that I went to the loo. They don't understand why there was a musical interlude. There's just a musical interlude.
Oh, God. Okay, sorry. My God. Calm down, mate. What the hell? Actually, that's the worst thing you can say to them. That's the worst thing you can say to a person, right? Yeah, never say to them calm down because it makes them worse.
Fucking job.
Yes. Well, after Josh has come back from saving the world.
Thank you.
Just,
come back for undisclosed reasons.
Yes, not the actual reasons, because you don't want people to. Oh, anyway.
All right, so next match. What is it, Stu? Was this the toilet break match?
I don't know. Oh man, this has gone so bad. No, but
this podcast is sort of like an hour and a half long.
It's fine. 2 hours and a half. It's fine. I don't mind. But yes, this was a weird match because it's like finding the highlights for it. For some reason, when you watch the highlights of this, someone must have not liked this match at all in both the highlights because someone just edited it out.
Was this Kris Statlander and Penelope Ford?
Yeah, I found it strange because it's like obviously I watched it on the when they watched it, sort of like had all the matches, but like when you found it on the highlights and stuff, just to watch back to remind yourself, it's just like they edited it out. And I did check on like Wikipedia and all that. It definitely was the next match. So yeah, I don't know what. Maybe it's like, was it that bad? I don't think it was.
No, it's just terrible. Because I watched the match back as well, but I think there was a lot more focus on Britt Baker's injury, I think, rather than this match. This match wasn't particularly long either. You had Kip Sabian on the outside selling his injuries from the ladder match, which was lovely.
I love it. I was loving the bit when he was just sort of like, he's outside and she's like, Statlander is like approaching. It's just like puts his crutch up and stuff like, get away from me, you alien freak. But it's just the way he said it in such a our British accent. I don't know. It's just like it. It's just like the guy is. I don't know. I just find that funny. I don't know why. but
there's the only two moments that kind of stand out for me was Statlander dive on the outside onto Penelope Ford and Kip Sabian, and as well as the finish. I thought that pile driver looked fairly devastating. I quite like that move.
Yes, or was it as they call it, the Big Bang Theory?
That's the one.
Yes, because anyway, but yeah, I think again it was again, we talked about it briefly earlier, in the sense that sort of like for a match that again wasn't supposed to be a match on the card and sort of had to put it together like quite quickly in some ways, and sort of like again it's more like a rating, like sort of like a table match type thing where it's like who moves up the rankings and stuff.
Yeah, I wish they made a bigger deal of that, because this match, it was just on there. It just felt like it was just on there for the sake of being on there, just giving these people something to do. And all the focus was on Britt Baker. So you could have had that extra kind of element of, because was she meant to go up against Statlander or Penelope Ford? I can't remember.
No, it was supposed to be Statlander. It was supposed to be like, again, it's like, yeah, but obviously got that injury in that tag team match. Tag team match, yeah, or just basically got that injury. That I've heard reports that it's not too bad. She's not gonna. She was with that kind of like injury she's supposed to have. She's supposed to be out for like 6 months to 8 months, but they said that she should be out for at least. She's lucky basically, and she's only be out for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, it's not as long, which is good. Speedy recovery.
Yeah, I mean, very, very lucky. I mean, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a situation where I don't know, like, because apparently on Dynamite on Wednesday they're going to have an announcement more about what's going on. So maybe it's like unless it's like a ploy or a swerve, or something, or like she's not as bad. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, again, this match, that's all this really was. It was sort of more of a sort of like someone replacing someone, and sort of like they gave it enough time, so it was good enough, and it was fun. It was fun to a point, but again, it didn't have that. Again, it felt like, as you said, had to keep the match, put a match on. So, but don't take away from, it's still good. So, but yeah, but they didn't put too much time on it. That was nice in the sense of like it wasn't as important as maybe like the world title match, women's title match later. So
no, but still, even if like regardless of time, I'd still like them to put a bit more focus on the stipulation of the match. So was Kris Statlander and Britt Baker going to fight off? Was this like a big feud that they've been building? Was it to do with the number one contendership? As Penelope Ford like volunteering to fight kind of as tribute, I guess. I wish they made that a bit more clear. Did something more.
Yeah, I mean, but it might be a situation of just because again, I don't know if you watched it more. I have, so it might be just for me like anyway, just like lack of knowledge, but in a sense of just like this match in general, it just felt like a, no pun intended, like a toilet break match, like sort of like you put you've had all the big ones, the big matches are big, like quality. This one was just like solid. It was good.
Not the most memorable, the least memorable match.
Yeah, but it's not like I don't know if it's like we're letting them off the hook, because if WWE did this, we would crucify them for it, wouldn't we? So I don't know if it's just a situation of just we're just.
I guess we would do. I kind of do the same here. Unless you're going to make some kind of effort, why is it on the card? Why not just hold it off, or do something, or do a better explanation, or just don't do it, or put it on the pre-show, or buy-in rather.
Yeah, or something like that. I mean, you could have put that title match, the AEW Tag Team Double Contender match. That would have been good, but put it there. But again, it's a small gripe, but it's again this part of the show was sort of like very quick, just getting like quick matches out of the way, sort of like the middle ground type thing. Obviously after this we had the Dusty Rhodes that we didn't know if he was going to turn up, because obviously he was taken out by, as we said earlier, Lance Archer. So we didn't know he was going to come back, and obviously against Shawn Spears. Yeah,
Shawn Spears does a really good job here. He pulls the Shawn Michaels on Montreal, playing the theme music, big reactions. What's going on? Then just a turn to camera and the smile, and that was a great camera angle as well. That they did a really good job, the production team, capturing all those beautiful moments, capturing some wonderful shots.
Yeah, they were on top notch here in this pay-per-view. They really were. They really are top of the game. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of set up though. You knew he was going to come back. It was. Yeah. It wasn't. There's nothing. It was nothing like, oh my god, but it was like interesting with Brandy was it? Rhodes was there. And obviously just as a distraction, and I don't know if I was expecting this match to be like a long match. I was surprised how short it was.
Yeah, but based on the way that the rest of the matches pan out, they're all fairly long, and this kind of setup was like a surprise. So if it's a surprise kind of appearance, it's going to be a short match, I think, because someone's mentally unprepared. Shawn Spears goes in expecting just to get an easy count-out win, because wins matter, which he pointed out.
Very true, very true.
And again, kudos to the camera guys. You're expecting Dustin Rhodes to come down from one of those entrance ramps on those tunnels, but no, he appears from out of frame, which is lovely. It's a great little reveal for either comedy or horror, and it's a nice uh-oh moment. He's behind you, and it's a nice surprise for the audience as well, because we didn't know where he was going to come from.
Yeah, I got to be honest, it did get a bit strange though, because it wasn't a situation where obviously Shawn Spears was sort of brought down to his undies, pretty much. I mean, it always did get offense in a bit with he was going to use the belt, but obviously it was basically Dustin Rhodes was basically all over him. But it got a bit weird when it's sort of like the bit when he was pulling his pulled his half his boxes down and sort of like spanked him or something. You know, it was funny, but it was a bit strange.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. Shawn Spears kind of got this. It's kind of like a squash match kind of feel to it. Like whether that was like his own choice to do, because the wrestlers have got a bit more freedom to, I guess. There's no script and they've got a bit more creative freedom, or a lot more creative freedom. So whether it is his choice to have his boxes pulled down and put Tully Blanchard's face on his boxes, because like that's not good. It's not going to do well for his credibility. So he's going to be down on the rankings for a while. So he's got a long way to go from here to build up. But if he wants to do that, fine. You know, it was funny. Yeah.
It was. It definitely was funny. I mean, again, we're talking about the camera stuff. I kind of like he wasn't really thinking, and then all of a sudden he just stopped for 1 minute, and then the camera was like, it was like when you're, it's like when if you're in a situation where you're like you're having a fight or something happens and he push you on a stage, and then you just realise, crap, and there's like 20,000 people behind you, and you're just like freaking out. That's what I love his reaction with it. It's just like he wasn't thinking. He's like, oh, they can see that, can't they? Oh, no.
Uh-oh. And you're thinking as well, like, why is it on your crotch? Why is Tully Blanchard's face there?
And it's like I know, it's very strange. But it was funny, and, it
was funny.
He obviously, that's the hit the Final Reckoning, and, got the win, and he gets, basically, it's a simple story. If he got his revenge.
Yep.
Finally
and
got
welcome
him out,
back, Dustin. Good to have you back. Yeah, if he goes out, he's got to end on a high and in front of a live crowd. That's what's going to happen.
Hopefully that's soon. Really hope that's
hopefully
before.
That's soon.
Oh God, I mean, but no, anyway, we'll get into the crowd. Like, when we can all go and watch wrestling again, there's a massive crowd. It's going to be the biggest thing ever.
Yeah,
and it's going to be so great. We will never moan again until like 2 minutes later, and then
we will.
Booking decision. Until we get a booking decision we don't like, and then before we know it, it'd be like, the hashtag counts for WWE description or something, or we'll start our wrestling. It's what we do. We just moan. Wrestling fans is what we do. But anyway,
that's what everyone does. Yeah, outrage culture and whatnot. But there we go.
It's now a podcast about chatting about wrestling as well as moaning about it.
Yeah.
Well, so it works. So. Well, we
got to moan about wrestling, otherwise we're going to be moaning about other things. So this is a nice escapism.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about it. No. We don't talk about that stuff. Not when we're recording anyway. No. But anyway, next, obviously these last two matches were just like sort of like quick, short, entertaining enough. If the crowd, like a big crowd was there, it would have been like sort of like funny, just sort of like everyone can take a breather.
Yep.
And then you get into the big like final three matches. There was like, because they're the big take most chunk of the most chunk of the entire show.
Yep, the two main titles and the big stable feud.
Yeah, I cannot wait to talk about that later. I've got to be honest, because it's just like anyway. But yeah, we cannot wait to talk about it. But yes, obviously after this, we had the AEW Women's World Championship match. It was a no disqualification, no count out match that I was quite interested that they actually made like specific to like no count outs, because normally they just say it's a no DQ match, right?
Yeah, I wasn't aware they added the stipulation until the night of. I thought it was just a traditional singles match, but it was nice to see, because then you've got to have a pinfall or a submission. There's no bullshit finishes, which is very welcoming. No,
yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, The funny thing is, it's like last time I watched AEW like week after week. None of us wasn't even, I don't think, in the company. Now I come back to watch it. She's the world champion, women's world champion. For me, I just find quite funny. It just shows like, what have I been doing? What have I been doing? Why am I not watching this? Yes, and obviously now I've got to like totally embarrass myself by trying to pronounce names I can't.
Right, we went over this. Come on, how's it pronounced?
This is the highlight for you, isn't it? Just watching me.
Come on, this is my revenge. This is my revenge for you telling people that I went to the loo. You know, that's what it is.
Can't believe you're so devastated by me telling you that. Oh, okay. Shani. No, damn it. It's what happens when you got dyslexia. Just can't pronounce things.
Here we go.
Shakira? No? Shakira? No.
Shakira?
I don't know. Man. You've got me. You've won. Okay, you've won.
How's it pronounced, Jim? This podcast is long enough as it is.
I don't know, man. You know what? You take the reins. You've already broken me already.
All right.
Just by making.
I'll give you the easy one. Okay, who was the champion going into the match?
I've already done that.
What? Have you?
I've done the champ one. I just can't pronounce.
I don't think you have. Unless I've completely zoned out. Who is it?
I did.
Who is it?
Nyla Rose. I did.
Nyla Rose. There we go. All right. Okay. Against Hikaru Shida.
How many times before we recorded I actually tried to like make sure I pronounce this right, and I still can't get it right. Maybe it's just another of those damage stew moments that you know.
Yeah. But yeah, leading into this match, so with AEW, like we spoke of beforehand, having a few issues. The first year, you know, which every company has, especially when they start off, there were a few mistakes here and there. We've discussed a couple of times about AEW's women's division not being as strong as it should be. Rio, who was very good, being the champion, wasn't on television for a lot of the time. Not many stars in a division, unless you're a big fan of and follow along to Japanese wrestling. There was prominent figures like Awesome Kong, who I don't know where she's got to. Is she injured, or I'm not sure.
I don't know anymore. Maybe it's just after the whole Nightmare Collective thing. I think maybe I don't know, but I don't know I don't know what's going on there. So I don't know if she's on the roster or she's like gone or she's not coming back or she's left. I don't know. But yeah, you're right. Like sort of like going this like sort of was that kind of thinking that the women's division wasn't as strong as it should be.
And I think they did, especially the build up to this match, this promo, they did a really good job, I think, of obviously getting people pumped up for the match, but also showcasing who these characters are. So Nyla Rose, strong, dominant. She's been a wrestler, I think, was it 6 years? Something like that. So
yeah.
And they mentioned that it takes the wrestler to be 10 years to be in their prime, and she's not even yet in their prime, so that's something to be wary of, which I thought was a very nice touch. And Hikaru Shida having that strong will and that determination that all the Japanese strong style wrestlers have, and her being kind of at the top of the division.
Well, she's always been up there.
Always been up there. She's got a better ranking than or better record than Nyla Rose going into. She was 9-1. Nyla Rose was 7-1.
Yeah, so sort of it was always between like the rankings was always between like her and Statlander. Last time I checked, it sort of like went. It
was her and Britt Baker, I think, wasn't it? Because Statlander had, I think she was 7 and 8.
But yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what we're just talking about the rankings. That's how good it is. But yeah, I mean, so it's like they've built her up quite nicely to like have this match. In a sense, she's definitely credible. And yeah, I'll be honest. It might be obviously it might be me, but it might be the best women's match they've had since I've kind of watched it.
I think it's the best match since Rio and Nyla Rose to determine the inaugural women's champion. I think.
But yeah, I haven't like, I'm kind of like, not because I don't respect, just sort of like I haven't really been like invested in the division when I've watched it, and now this is the first time like I think I've actually been quite well invested in it. I sort of feel like, you know, it's up to the quality it should be in my eyes. So
yeah, they presented it really nicely. They had that big match feel like this match is important. This is a world championship.
They've done what you would expect in a match like this. Obviously, Nyle Rose using her strength and sort of using that kind of like she's the bigger person, and sort of like just tossing her around. They had that cool moment when she chucked her on the. I guess because it's like you're thinking, I get it, it's a casino theme, but why is there a random poker table on the side? But okay, guessing just to throw some on it, I guess. But
yep.
I just love that sometimes with wrestling props. Like, why is that there? It's like, oh, okay, someone's going through that later.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like the use of the poker chips. I mean, they used it more like through the night, but it was nicely used. I like the way they used it here.
Yeah, so Shida hits a hip toss, throwing Nyla Rose onto the chip, and then running up with a running knee, which is their signature move, hitting that knee strike.
Well, obviously, one thing we remember is the high thing was like Nyla Rose had that like kendo stick as well. So it's sort of like, I like the idea of like she was using it at the beginning and then throwing it away, and then when she got it back, she was just whacking her with it, like proper, as you said, like sort of strong style, sort of like hitting her as hard as you could. Yeah,
right, like in between the, right on the edge of the neck, pretty much, and some solid shots.
Yeah, it was. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be able to take a kendo stick to the back anyway, or like any part of my body, but I mean the neck. I mean, let's just hope we never get in a situation where we have like a bet. And it's like whoever loses has to take like 5 kendo sticks to the back, because that would hurt.
Oh yeah,
so much. But yeah, and again, it's like it's getting really good stuff. I mean, you had that really cool table spot as well when it's like maybe I just love table spots, but it's just like the way to sort of like set up and putting that in the table in the corner, and then sort of just chucking her in it. It didn't obviously break as clean as you would like, but you know. Biggest cup choosers, but yeah, I mean, the one thing I just know, it's like that was it. Sunday again, it's like again with these matches and this whole card, it's just like the execution of some of these moves had just been like they were just really good. It's like it was Avalanche and Falcon Arrow from the top rope. Looked pretty freaking awesome, I would say. Yeah.
It's especially a good showcase for the bigger wrestlers, the heavyweights and the super heavyweights. With their athletic, high-flying offense and agility. Another brilliant moment was when Nyla Rose was on the top rope, and as Shida was draped over the top rope, Nyla Rose dives and lands a knee right on the back of her neck. It looked brutal. It was lovely.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, again, it's like I kind of. Maybe it's just me, but the finish felt a bit like, maybe it's because I'm watching it, just that it not rush, but it sort of felt abrupt. I mean, it was a good moment, but kind of like the bit when she hit the knee, and another was it that knee to the neck, and then all of a sudden it's just the quick pin. You expect, maybe again it's like expecting a kick out, and then just like it was just over.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
It's a similar finish to Cody and Lance Archer, so 2 knee strikes in a row. I think the only kind of gripe I guess with that is if you're having some kind of strike like that, I'd like to hear a clear nap. If you're not quite sure what a nap is, I use that for when I do my stage combat as well. A nap is the sound used instead of whether it's say it's a knee strike. You hit the knee to someone's face, it's going to have that cracking sound of knee on bone or cartilage, whatever. So you need to simulate that sound. So you can do that with a knee strike. You can hit your quad, like for example, if I hit my quad here like this, or like that kind of sound. I'd like to hear something a bit more distinct, like a big loud sound here, because that adds impact. Because you can throw your body into it and you can sell it as much as you like, but the sound really makes it sell is what makes people go ooh.
It's why the super kick works. It's why the super kick, like the way
exactly. Yeah,
I get that. I think that's the problem with some of these. Stuff like the finishes aren't. They should be more impactful, or like they are impactful, but they should, like I said, you should be like that kind of feeling when you hit it. Like that's it, it's over. But I mean, again, it's only a little gripe. But I mean, I enjoyed this match. I liked that. It's the first time probably that they've found it. I think it's been like they've had a whole year to tune it, but I think they're on the right direction with this women's division now. I think they're on the right path.
Yeah, it's a really good showcase and a step in the right direction. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I got to be honest. I after watching this pay-per-view, I have to watch AEW now. I have noticed. I got to stop. I was like, oh, I've been watching it, and then I watched these matches, especially this one. I'm like, yeah, I miss having that kind of story and like backstory to it, going into it.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
It's tough watching as well, especially nowadays when it's all empty arenas. When I'm watching this show, it is an empty arena, but there's at least some kind of atmosphere there. But very little, but they're doing a really good job. They're just trying to create an atmosphere, and that was one of the things that made me like tune out for wrestling for a while, especially watching Raw and SmackDown and then NXT. Is like, there's no crowd here. It might seem like an awesome match, but if you haven't got an audience reacting, it's hard to engage. It's like watching a pantomime with like no audience interaction at all. It'd be so odd. It's so difficult to engage.
Yeah, I understand that, but again, it's like anything else, just getting used to it. And we're creatures of habit, so it's like I guess we're just first it'd be weird, but then eventually you just get used to it. But I don't know. It's one of these things that's going to be probably going to be a problem for a while. So, but again, as we said at the start, it's like the way they've used the fan, like sort of like the other wrestlers to sort of create atmosphere is. At least it feels like a kind of show now instead of just being like just a emptiness,
Exactly, yeah. And they did a good job as well of informing everyone. Like everyone's been tested. Some people have been like tested 2 or 3 times, so it's all fine. It's like, okay, that's good. Because then they also mention like, what's going on. They're also referencing it.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, this feels like I guess it's just like their style of like do it, but just I don't know what it is like. It just felt like they're like like acknowledging it. It's not like it's in a bubble. It's not like WWE. Sometimes it feels like it is in a bubble, where it's sort of like they kind of acknowledge it briefly, but it's like they don't mention stuff. But at least here it feels like okay, like they acknowledge this stuff. It's just nice. It just feels a bit more, genuine. But yeah, but again, this match is it was an emotional moment because obviously with this situation with. Was it wrestler that committed suicide? Was it this week?
Hana Kimura.
Yeah, it's only 22, and I think they were close. Them two were close. It was a really like emotional moment because it's tragic what happened.
Yes.
It really is. But yeah, I think it just had that emotion. I mean, it had that kind of like feeling like how big it was a big deal, her winning it. So
yeah.
But so yeah, as a pay-per-view should.
Hikaru Shida had a really good presence in the match as well. She looked like focused, similar to like Cody. Like I need this, I want this, and I know I can do this. It's going to be a hell of a challenge, but I've got to focus. And that was very well presented. And she also suits the title as well. She looks really good with it.
Yeah. I mean, I got about. I don't know what it is about. Maybe I'm just love that belt. I'm sure they can make a better belt. I mean, I can see it, but I don't know what it is. I'm not a lover. I don't love that design. I got to be honest.
It's comically small. It's like it doesn't need to be that small. Unless it's like a homage to like an old women's title, but it doesn't need to be that small. It looked especially on Nyle Rhodes. It looked really silly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it felt. I don't know. It just maybe just don't like that design. I think they can put a better one, but it's all opinions. It's opinions. So hey, but yeah. So as we're into now we're into the last two, the massive ones of the show now. Yes. Obviously now we've got to the world title match. That's we've got AEW world title match. We got Jon Moxley against a Brodie Lee. That was debuted as Mr.
Did you say Brodie Lee?
I don't know. Did I?
It sounded like you said Brodie Lee. It might just be the signal. Obviously, due to the current pandemic, we're recording separately. Obviously, at the same time. But Stuart would usually be around my house drinking all my tea and everything. But he can't do that this time. So
make it sound like I'm this leech, this vulture that comes in and just takes just takes your food, takes everything, and then just goes home and then. Wow. This is I finally see. I finally understand there, Josh. I thought it was like we're friends, but okay. If that's how you see me, okay. But yeah, I mean, again, this again pronouncing words. Yes, I could always use technology, but no, I messed up big time there. But yes, maybe you could save me with this one.
It's quite an easy one because it's not a Japanese name. It's not just Brodie Lee, but it's Mr. Brodie Lee.
Yes, the sort of thank you so much. Yes, sort of like a blatant attack on, sort of like a take the mick out of Mr. McMahon.
That goes on to another one of my kind of gripes with AEW is just don't focus on WWE, just focus on what you're doing. It was like they were trying to be like subtle or something. I'm not quite sure, but they were far too on the nose with Brodie Lee being this like Vince McMahon kind of character. So like he's eating steak and all sorts. And when he was coming down to the ring, this big presentation of everyone's lined up. Security are lined up with the face masks to stop these guys from like kicking off like prematurely. Brodie Lee's coming down, looking good. And then the commentator's going, oh, by the way, Brodie Lee doesn't like sneezing. I'm like, just pack it in. Just stop focusing on WWF. Yes, you're the alternative. You're offering something new. Give us the actual escapism. You don't need to mention and have those little digs. Just focus on what you're doing, and it'll make the product better.
Yeah, but at least it's not. At least it's only subtle. As much as like, at least it's only subtle though. I mean, it could be like properly on the nose. I don't mind if it's on like being the elite or something, because they used to take the piss out of WWE all the time, and that was brilliant. I loved it when they did that. But when you're actually on live television, then you're going down onto the actual like Monday Night Wars where WCW would slag off WWF and WWF would slag off WCW. Just focus on what you're doing. Yeah, but it's sort of like, again, the whole thing's sort of based on that, but I got, when they were sort of doing the whole like who was going to be the exalted one, I got to be honest, wouldn't have been my choice, because obviously there was rumours going around it was a broken Matt Hardy, if I remember correctly.
There was.
I mean, that could have worked, but I think he's too goofy. He is like sort of, I don't want to say goofy, but sort of like too, because it's like a sinister cult leader. It's not really what Matt Hardy is.
Exactly, yeah. Matt Hardy is like, if it was like early Broken Matt Hardy, like when he first started doing it when he was a heel, and yeah, that would work. But he's such a fan favourite now. And he joins a heel faction. That wouldn't have worked. I don't think so. It had to be someone we'd never seen, I think, or someone new. And I think he is a good fit, Brodie Lee, or Luke Harper, whatever you want to call him. Although there are people who are obviously try and draw comparisons between him and obviously when he was in that when in the Wyatt family, when Bray Wyatt was the leader, now he's taking on that role. There's some people drawing comparisons.
Yeah, I mean, there is. You can kind of see it, but again, it's like it's like any gimmick, anything anyone does. You can always see comparisons to earlier works. So, but I mean, it's good he's getting prominent role again. Like he's always had the talent, and he's always been that good in the ring. It's just he's never been given an opportunity to really prove it in WWE, and obviously in AEW. No. This is they put him in a prominent storyline with a prominent faction. And they put him in, like, was it a couple of months into the company? They put him in a world title match against Jon Moxley. I mean, you could always sit there and say, well, obviously 2 ex-WWE guys gone against each other for a AEW World Title. You can always take the negatives of that.
Yeah, and it's going back to my previous point as well, is someone who's just come in, unless you're really wanting to push them to the moon, and put the world title on them, or they lose the title like just narrowly. It's very risky when someone just comes in, you present them that way, and then just they take a loss like that. It can be really damaging for credibility later on.
But I got to be honest, this match was again shorter than I expected. I expected a little bit longer. Again, it had some. It was good. Again, it was really good. Like, as you can see, these guys have wrestled for many years. It's like you can sort of see the chemistry definitely there. You had we had a cool spot with the whole. What a shocker! There's mysteriously a guardrail that's on in the back in the crowd, or where the crowd would be. And I always noticed when he was it on the side. I was like, yeah, what a coincidence that's there. Wonder if they're going to use that. It was there
for the ladder match as well, when they piled that on top of Brian Cage. That's what the massive crack sound was. So they had a couple of those.
Oh, okay, my bad. But I just didn't pay attention. But yeah, I just found it strange, like the way it was there. But yeah, I mean that was cool. I mean that was a cool thing. Because obviously just the way it's, again, you were saying earlier with the way it sounded. What you said with the whole like in the previous match with the whole like knee with the crack and all that. It's just like the way it sounded really devastating. I saw a power driver. I mean, when was the last time you saw someone do that? I think
earlier on we saw Kris Statlander do it.
Yes, but when was the last time you saw someone like Jon Moxley do it and stuff? I don't know. Just you don't. It's just like you've been so conditioned to not see power driver anymore. Like when you see one, for me anyway.
Because obviously with the Owen Hart and Steve Austin incident, predominantly less pile drivers, especially sit down pile drivers.
Yeah, it's not doing it. Yeah, they not doing them anymore. But nope. But yeah, it was good stuff. You had that thing with the steps. The bit where with Jon Moxley got the steps, and it's sort of like Lee was trying to stop him, and then sort of like flipped him, and he sort of landed on a table that was set up on the side of the ring. That was a cool spot, I think. But let's be honest though, this whole match is built on that last spot near the end of the match.
What a bump that was, and it was again well presented as well. So both guys go through. It's kind of, it was reminiscent of when Big Show put Undertaker through the ring, and everyone's going, "Whoa!" What a move that was. And Jon Moxley just like crawling out, like, oh, he's alive. Where's Brodie Lee? And eventually he emerges. Obviously, worse for wear, he's taken a huge bump there, taking all the damage, and he's busted open. He does not look good.
No, and then what I was said about earlier, where he came back and he hit the paradigm shift, and it's like kicked out of one, and it was just like, okay, and then he hit another one, again kicked out again. It was just like, oh, it's going to beat him, and I wasn't expecting a submission win. I've got to be honest.
No, Jon Moxley using the kind of cage fighter gimmick, a kind of persona that he has, like the elbows to the head and the chokehold. And that just returning to that point for a third time, it's the way Brodie lost. I'm just worried about how that's going to affect his credibility, especially being the Exalted One, the cult leader. I thought like perhaps he would have been left on the outside. Jon Moxley may have won by count out or something, and then Brodie Lee eventually emerges and then possibly get some heat back. Perhaps.
I mean, you might get it on Dynamite on Wednesday, yeah. But I mean, I guess it's best, as much as it's like he lost, but it's not. For me, it's like we look at it in the situation it took, hitting a paradigm shift off the stage through the freaking the stage and going through it, hitting two more paradigm shifts. He kicks out one and then was choked out. I mean. Yeah. I guess, and you can sit there and say credibility, but I
mean, he doesn't tap. That's a positive. He doesn't tap. It's like, okay, fine.
No, it takes,
and he takes a lot of damage, but he was that kind of well beaten.
Yeah, but it took it like you have to take it like again, choke him. He passed out because of like he couldn't take it anymore type thing, choked out.
Yeah,
I think if I have all the things to beat him, I would rather have him be like this, because you can kind of you said I can get the credibility stuff, all that, but with this it kind of works because again it shows that Moxley can hit, like have got other moves in his arsenal that can beat people, so it makes him more dangerous as a champion. And obviously Lee, it makes him look like, it's like it took all that stuff just to take him out.
Yeah,
it's not like it'd be different if he hit one Paradise Shift and that's a pin. You'd be like, oh god, okay, but it took a lot to beat him. So I think it kind of works, but it depends on if they have rematches or if it's like they continue the feud. That'd be what would make it interesting, I guess. Let's be honest, we can't put it off any longer.
No, let's talk about it.
Let's be honest. What we should have done is just like said, okay, sorry guys, we're just going to skip the entire pay-per-view and just talk about this for 2 hours. We probably could talk about this for 2 hours.
Just put a little disclaimer at the beginning of the episode. Oh, by the way, if you want to listen to the Stadium Stampede and miss everything else, go to this timestamp or whenever we're talking about this. But obviously that's disrespectful to the rest of the card.
True. Very true. But obviously we're talking about the battle that probably would have happened at that Blood or Guts pay-per-view. Was it a special edition of Dynamite? That was like, was it 2 months ago that was supposed to be, but they obviously stopped it because of the whole coronavirus thing. But yes, I mean, they've sort of stretched it out probably longer than probably would have been. In a sense that this kind of match would have happened then, and then it probably would have been Jericho probably won against Moxley, probably, or like a rematch at some point. They probably would have done. I mean, obviously I can't confirm that, but that's what I thought. It looks like they might have done. But yeah, obviously talking about Stadium Stampede match with the Elite, with Adam Page, Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson, and obviously broken Matt Hardy.
Wonderful.
That's indeed. It's always great to see the broken Matt Hardy, not the woken or whatever they called him in WWE. Against the Inner Circle, was Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, Sammy Guevara. That's probably like, I don't know if he's that guy's probably been like, that whole golf cart thing is still hilarious every time you watch it.
Yeah.
Please tell me you watched that match.
What, did I watch Stadium Stampede? Damn right I watched Stadium Stampede. I didn't watch the whole card. No, I don't want to watch Stadium Stampede. It's not real wrestling. Bye-bye. Of course I watch Stadium Stampede.
Not this match. I'm talking about the one when the famous thing that's gone around the internet one about when Sammy Guevara was getting was it run over by a golf cart with Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, did you watch that match?
I didn't see that match, but I saw that moment. Yeah,
every time. that is perfection. It's comedy wrestling and just like in its perfection way. It's just like the way he sort of like gets in the cart, the way he sort of like Kenny Omega's like got the battle saying you're next, and Sammy Guevara's face like, oh for God's sake. Yeah. And it's and that bump he got as well. He just basically ran into a moving vehicle.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, it's like he ran and he suddenly stops and he just jumps into it, and it's just like, oh my God, that must have really hurt. But
oh hell yeah,
this again. But yeah, I mean, obviously the Inner Circle versus the Elite. It's probably like their version of like sort of like the battles that they have in New Japan, like the faction warfare they have there.
It's a mixture of that. It's a mixture of the faction warfare in Japan, along with the cinematic experiences that WWE have been doing recently with the recent Money in the Bank ladder match, the Firefly Funhouse, and the Boneyard match.
Yeah, I mean, gotta be honest. Like, one, why did they have a ring?
That's a point. That is a point I was thinking about. So they've got a ring. I thought if they got a ring, surely then it has to happen within the ring, the pinfall. But then they had multiple officials, so yeah, you're thinking, why did they have a ring?
You're in it for like what, the first 10 minutes, like 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden it's just like they've done the right thing with sort of splitting it up into like sections so you don't get bored.
Yes.
But, yeah, I mean, again, I like the sort of Inner Circle had this thing where sort of like using the smarts, like sort of having like the coming. I like the way they're coming out like American football, and the sort of like they're both wearing like protective gear or like jerseys, so it makes it the whole American football like stadium like type match, all that kind of stuff.
Which is great. Yeah.
I mean, with one thing is I like pointing out at the beginning. It's like, again, we're just talking about the golf cart bit. You're thinking, where's Adam Page? Where is he? He's probably at the bar again. And then all of a sudden he turns up with a horse.
And it's Sammy Guevara selling as well. Like, what's he looking at? Like, oh shit, there's a horse. And now, first a golf cart, and now he's being chased by a horse.
I love his reaction. He has been on fire in this feud. I've got to be honest. It's like it's blatantly obvious that Jericho's like really grooming him because I'm watching him and it's like, yeah, he's learned them stuff from Jericho. Kind of thing. Like it's kind of like comedy Jericho because Jericho knows comedy when it comes to wrestling. But yeah, just the way he runs off and he's just like, oh, for God's sake, here we go again. But yeah, I mean, and obviously in the ring it was just like the stuff you would expect. We're using weapons, all kinds of like.
I liked when they were charging in and Kenny Omega had his signature broomstick as the cleaner. It's like, yep, that was nice. A good little touch there.
Yeah, I mean, it just like whole kinds of thing. Obviously, Jericho had what was the name of that bat? He named his baseball bat, didn't he?
What was the name of the bloody bat? That's a good question. That's a great pub quiz question. What was the name of Jericho's bat?
Damn it. Well, all I'm saying is dibs.
It also had a surname as well. I think it was Larry. Is it something like Larry? Like Larry Lawson?
I don't know, man. It's yeah, but it's just funny. Just like you're going crazy when you're naming your weapons by actual names. Yeah. You're going a bit nuts, mate. But I mean, the whole thing with like. Just got action in the ring. It was just like, but it was good. But then it got interested when they started splitting up. When they started sort of like section by section, like sort of actually using the environment. I liked a lot, actually.
Yeah, and it was glued together really nicely. So whenever someone finished, they joined someone else elsewhere. They used different parts of the field, so they used the bar, they used up in the stands, they used the field, they used all sorts of different areas of the stadium, which was very refreshing. Yeah,
I mean, I just like use the environment. It's just it's a massive thing. It's like for.
I didn't even know that that stadium had a pool. It's like there's a swimming pool in the stadium.
I've got to be honest, that must be a really awesome place to watch sport. Because it's like, imagine if it was like a nice summer's day on August, like we're down in America watching American football in the bar, it's like that, the kind of view you'll get. That stadium looks nuts. I mean, you just wouldn't get that in football, but it's just like it's just like it's an amazing stadium. I mean, it just looks great, and I just love the way they used it.
The pitch markings as well was good.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously they had a lot of football. I love the football references in there, like the sort of. The bit with what was it? Yeah, with the bit with what was it? The bit there was a bit near the end, like with Nick Jackson was like I think the whole thing with Sammy Guevara doing like was it the
was Matt Jackson, but yeah, Matt Jackson. So it was edited. I'd love to have seen them do the whole long shot of them doing the entire thing, like 100 yards. If that was on one single shot, that'd be amazing. That'd be like moment of the year if you did that for 100 yards. That would be absolutely incredible if they did that. But it was done like really well. So they cut away to, I think it was during the point of Jericho and Nick Jackson squaring off against each other, and that was the moment with the VAR as well.
What a bit when he's like, that's a terrible call, you're a rubbish ref, and it's just like, I want to replay that, and it's just
no, it wasn't a rubbish referee. It was, I'm going to the VAR, I'm going to there, they're going to the little tent, they come out, no, it was definitely two. It's like, you're a shitty referee.
I don't know what it is. It's just so. It's just like utilising that. Yes, we're in a football stadium, American football stadium. That's utilise references. Or the bit when it's just like when he finished doing it and Jack was it, and he did the whole thing with dancing. The ref's like, here you go, yellow card for excessive dancing, and he's like, what? Yeah. And it's just like, boom, super kick.
It's like I just kick Stan kind of moment.
I just kick Stan.
In those title moments of the intro of AEW, and you've got that as big signature moment is when you've got the Canadian Destroyer off the ladder through a table during Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks. The amount of spots in this match which can be included in that title sequence. So you've got, I think it's Matt Jackson diving off the goalposts.
Yeah, it was like it gets the ladder. Like they get the ladder and climb up, and he does like a moonsault.
Yeah, again, a very conveniently placed ladder as well with the elite colours. Diving off that, it's like, yeah, that's a great shot for that. You've got Nick Jackson running down the stands and jumping through, putting Jericho through the table.
That was great. That was good.
Yeah, and the last moment as well, where how high were they up in the air? Like a good 30, 40 feet, maybe. Like, that was absolutely insane. It was like that's the shit you'd kind of do in like SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain and Shut Your Mouth, where you could climb ridiculous heights, like up onto lorries, down onto concrete. You could jump onto the SmackDown fist and then jump straight down to the stage, like stupid things like that.
It did sort of feel like that in some ways. I mean, we got obviously had the bit with the sort of like the bit with with the Matt Hardy and Tana Ortiz were in the bars and stuff, and he had that bit with was it Kenny Omega that they put he put like a railing on top of the table, and sort of was it hit like a power bomb on it and went through it quite nicely. Again, as you said, like sort of a highlight reel. That could be another one to put on the highlight reel. But I mean, again, this is like so many stuff in this. It's like that whole segment was the whole bit with, like, it went. I gotta be honest, it went a bit. Maybe some people pointed it out rightly. It might have been too close to home, having them in the pool, sort of doing about Matt Hardy trying to drown him. Maybe I don't know if that was a bit too on the nose. It was more than probably.
I did think that initially. I was like, oh, fucking hell, they're gonna murder Matt Hardy. That's not good. But then they used it as like a lake of reincarnation. It's like, oh, okay. So on second viewing, it's like, okay, that's not too bad then. That's right. If they use it that way, like comically, but if they just, because at one point they were holding him down, and then they got out the pool, and you just see Matt Hardy just floating in the water. I'm like, they've killed Matt Hardy. He's dead. Like, Jesus Christ. But then he came back like, yeah. On second viewing, it's fine because you know what happens. He's not actually drowned. But on first viewing, I thought that's quite a harrowing image for something which was quite light-hearted and fun.
Yeah, but he said it's like I like to sort of like I've already done it before. I think they've done this before, but like the whole thing where it's like going through his like personas. Like you obviously got I don't know. I gotta be honest, there's probably ways, camera angles or trickery with like the way that's like how he gets changed so quickly, but I don't know.
Yeah, that was a cut edit. There's absolutely no way, unless he was like some kind of magician. But yeah, but it was well cut together. It's very well done, and they utilised that. They didn't have to do it all live on one take. They were actually creative and realised, oh, we've got no live audience. We can technically do what we want.
Yeah, it's like you got the freedom that most like TV shows have, where it's not built around having a live audience type thing.
No. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Hardy one was just sort of like Matt Hardy, the original one from the Hardy Boys, and he had the sort of like the version one,
Yeah.
Attitude and all that.
The matter of fact. Yep.
That was quite cool. And obviously, Stu had broken Matt Hardy, but the thing with Ortiz, like he's like, I'm not going in there. I can't swim, and it's only 3 feet of water. He can't swim.
It's like he doesn't. It's like he can swim. He just doesn't want to get his hair wet.
But again, the whole match was like the way this sort of like it was set up, and it was just taking out each member of the Inner Circle one by one.
Mm-hmm.
I like the bit where like he also took out Santana with a table, put the Ortiz took Ortiz and put Santana in the ice box.
Puts Santana in the ice box, and Ortiz gets his head stuck in the bell. Dung, rings the bell. He's just selling it like a cartoon character, and he's in a wheel. He's in the not the wheelchair, the chair of wheels.
And it's just like magic tape that, because it's like put that magic tape around. It's like he didn't get out for the entire match. It's like you're stuck there now, mate. Yeah. I mean, again, it's just like so that's 2 down. So they got rid of them, and obviously Jake Hager's looking out for Adam Page, because he just, he thought, oh, okay, I'll just go for a drink. He's got to be the worst teammate ever.
Yeah.
He's obviously he turns
just
up.
giving up. It's like, I'll just go to the bar, have a drink.
Exactly. It's just like he turns up late. He rides a horse for a bit, gets lost, goes, screw it, goes to the bar, and he goes, Stuart, I'll go to the bar. It's just like...
Doesn't want to fight, he just wants to drink. So that's why he asked, you want to fight or drink? Oh, I'll drink. All right. Then
what
it kicks
a terrible partner he is. But when he got to... that bar fight was pretty sweet as well.
It was sweet. His agility, Hangman's agility was incredible in that one. He was moving like lightning.
Yeah, some of the stuff he was doing in that was just like, in that environment, could easily go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
But again, this is a type thing. Like, again, JK looked like a beast in this. Like, he's like the bit when he's like Chucky and Adam Page doing the thing that everyone does in a bar fight when there's a bar, putting them on the table, the bar when you serve the drinks, and just dragging them across, because you always do that in a bar fight. Mm-hmm. That's what you do. You always do that at bar fights in films, all the time.
Yeah. And eventually Adam Page gets some assistance from Kenny Omega. Yeah,
I love the whole bit with that sort of like, it's like you can't take this guy down. You hit him, you get the beer glasses or like the beer bottles, and just hit him one head once. You're like, he's not going down. Oh, for God's sake! Okay, we get another one, and then another one.
And then V trigger, and then buckshot lariat over the bar. They decide, as you do, like, job's done. Let's have a beer or whatever. They start serving, and obviously, because I think Kenny doesn't drink, so it's like, okay, you have some whiskey, I got some milk. Cheers.
It's cool.
There we go.
It's cool. They're like, let's get back to the action. So that's two. That's 3 down. So only 2 left.
We discussed Jericho's taken out when Nick Jackson runs down the stadium seating area, jumps up onto the barricade kind of area, jumps, splashes, puts Jericho through the table. And so it's just old Sammy G left.
And the way he reacted was great. He got up because someone put the sprinklers on.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm not quite sure if it was like motion activated or not, but he's just crawling. He's just been suplexed like multiple times, like 100 yards. He's knackered. He crawls and crawls, gets sprayed in the face with a sprinkler. He struggles for a bit. He sits up right into the sprinkler again. And then he stands up, and it's that moment of, oh, no one else is here. I've won. Brilliant. I'm the last man standing. And
then it's just like that realization. And then again...
What's that noise?
I got up and I said, I don't know why. It's just everything he's done in this match. Like, his comedy timing is brilliant. Yeah. It was just on the nose. It's just like when he's like, what's that noise? And then it's just that situation of like, turns around, he's knackered. He's been 100 yards and all that, and then they've got the golf cart.
And just Sammy's face, just like, it's like the scene in the American Office. Steve Carell's character just turns around, and basically Sammy's monologue's just going, "No, God, please, no, no, no."
Where he's absolutely knackered. He's like, I can't run. And he's running, and it's just, that was great. He gets away though, and I got when he's reacting when he goes, "Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. What have I done to you?
Leave me alone."
And then obviously we said earlier with that wing, with the finish at the end with Kenny Omega with that from the top.
Yeah.
I like that. That was the finish.
That was the big finish. But I was expecting kind of like a bullshit moment of, you remember when Miz put Shane McMahon through a similar kind of block, breakaway kind of block, but Shane McMahon gets his arm over Miz and escapes to the win. I was expecting something like that. Sammy's just snatching the win. I was like, that'd be kind of well deserved for Sammy, because he's put up with a lot of shit in this match.
True, but I think it works because basically, like, having the Inner Circle had this like massive run where they've just been dominant for like months and months and months. Mm-hmm. So, kind of funny that like in the end it was like the elite get the victory. But
what a bump that was as well, and it's a one-winged angel. And rest have gone and said, like, yeah, taking that sucks. There's no nice way to land from the one wing angel. It hurts. And when you're doing that from however high that bloody fall was, and through a breakaway platform, that's got to suck.
I mean, to be fair though, if a guy can sit there and take going through a plank with barbed wire around it and having to land on that when he did against Moxley, right?
Yeah,
that's like nothing.
Yeah, well, I think of Sammy Guevara.
I think I always loved his obviously he's amazing. Sammy Guevara's like, he's amazing in the ring. He's definitely got the kind of stuff. He's got that kind of agility and that kind of like moveset that could do some crazy stuff. But I don't know if it is like being under the tutelage of Jericho. His character has gone from miles, like it's gone tenfold since the last time I saw him on telly. I'm loving it at the moment. He seems to be one of he's become so entertaining. and he's got the comedic spots, the spot on it, like with the whole reaction to everything. He's just funny. He's the heel. It's like you want him to be. You kind of feel sorry for him because after a while he's getting too much punishment. You know,
he's taking a lot of punishment, but he's the young guy, and he's taking all these bumps to get all the credit and respect. And I think it won't be long. I think if he could be like one of the first like challengers, or eventually gets the TNT Championship, you know, or something like that, or some kind of title soon, that'd be well deserved. I think he deserves it.
Well, to be fair, that title is kind of just like, it feels like they're designing that title for like sort of have the best wrestlers have it, or the best workers get it. I think, or sort of like who puts on the best matches. And I haven't seen.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and find out. I guess.
Let's be honest. We know. I'm totally seeing like on Dynamite on Wednesday, like a bit where Sammy Guevara is coming out in crutches with like a cast around his like everywhere, and he's just walking like a man, like destroyed.
Yeah, and then taking another huge bump.
Oh, but I mean, what are you gonna say about this match? It's just like, it's for how ridiculous it is. Let's be honest. They're doing a whole match in this freaking football stadium, and the way it could have went wrong. It was just they split it up. They split it up good. The pacing was good. Right. They didn't like split. They split it up into different corners of the arena. Everyone had their moments to shine. It was funny. It was action packed. It was done well. And the right person won again. It's just like it was just amazing. It was just great to see. It's like one of the matches you could watch again and again and again, and it would just never get boring.
And it's just great fun to watch. It was a fantastic exhibition, just silly fun. Pretty much, like, I can't say anything more.
It's just a creativity. It's a creativity in it as well that I love as well.
And it had memorable moments as well. It's not just like one or two. It's like you can pretty much, I think, as we have done, just describe the whole narrative of the match of like kind of spot by spot, and that's what you can tell why it's a good match, because you can remember spot by spot by spot.
Yeah, I think it's like I hate doing comparison, but watching this match sort of like what sort of made me think. We sit there in the Money in the Bank one, and that was like we said, okay, that was good, it was alright, but if you compare it to if you do comparisons between that match where it kind of in a sort of building area, and have to think of creative ways, and then compare it to that, no contest.
Yeah, in terms of use of environment, WWE got better, and they started to use environment a bit more in the Money in the Bank match, but they used everything in the stadium that you wanted them to use, including things we didn't even know was there, like I said before, the swimming pool. No idea that was there.
So, I mean, all kind like sitting there using the even going back to the sort of using the golf cart again, sort of like Adam Page on a horse, you know, because why not? Why not? All kinds of like, you know, using the bar inside, using the bar outside, using the pitch. As I said earlier, what's the point of having the ring? But I guess you need to be reminded that it's a wrestling match, or some sort of wrestling battle of some kind. But it was just fun creatively. It had some. It was just like, it felt like it was just like all these guys just having a blast, and I had a blast watching it. I mean, it was just brilliant.
As did I.
It was just a great way to end it, and a great way to end. I got to be honest, amazing show. I mean,
very, very solid show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say it's the best of the year because it's like, or best ever, because that's just. But it's like, I'd always say the WWE match Money in the Bank was like, it was what we needed, like, sort of. But
yes,
after watching this pay per view, it's like, yeah, no, this pay per view now was what I needed.
Yeah,
I needed that spark back. You know, you need that thing to what you can watch that sort of makes you go, oh, this is why I love this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sort of like. Or just like you needed that sort of like, this is what wrestling should be. It's like WWE have done a kind of good job in some ways, but AEW is, I think, ahead of them in sort of like, they just have more freedom to sort of do more creative stuff, I think.
They're making best use of the situation. So they got no fans. What to do? Okay, we'll put all the heels and faces outside and they're cheering and booing whoever. The heels are cheering the heels and the faces are cheering the faces. You've got cinematic like experiences. WWE doing those. AEW go, okay, we can top that, but it's relevant because it is in Jacksonville, and Tony Khan is the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It makes perfect sense. It's not just a random football stadium for no reason.
Well, utilise it. No one else is there, was it? I don't know. It's just like, I've heard reports like just reading it earlier, just like before. Was that now I think WWE it's taking this long, but WWE is like going, oh, you know that idea of using like wrestlers we have as like possible fans to give a bit of atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Maybe we should do that. It's like we just like.
I wonder where they got that idea from.
I know they really sound like they're lagging behind AEW. AEW didn't like have done a good job, sort of like making these shows interesting or like.
Yeah, AEW have shown more initiative.
A fresh sort of new company, maybe. Maybe it's just got more fresher ideas than maybe WWE. It's sort of like an old, ancient company. It's sort of like running out of ideas. I don't know.
I think they're just more clued into what the wrestling fans want. I mean, they've said that from the very beginning. We want a show which the fans want to see. So WWE is very much kind of like, we're going to present it in a way you either like it or you don't. AEW tries to they focus on the fans and what they want, what they potentially like to see.
Yeah, and obviously we've got a situation where it's like AEW is a wrestling company, WWE is sort of like a sports entertainment company.
I mean, they're both sports entertainment companies, but one puts more emphasis on the sporting aspect.
Yeah, but it's like WWE doesn't. It's focused on wrestling, but
not just that. It's more of a. It's more than that. It's more of not just sporting, but it's almost like more of a cabaret kind of show because you've got more variety of wrestling as well. It's a sporting cabaret show.
Yeah, just it feels like they understand the purpose of like you have to have every like sort of something for everyone, sort of. Mm-hmm. And it's like the old like back in the day, like it used to be. You used to watch when you don't have to like everything, but. Even if you don't like all of it, it's still going to entertain you in some way, shape or form.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this kind of pay-per-view, I just like, I might get me back to watching, get my arse in gear and start watching a bit of Dynamite again.
Same here.
But yeah, I mean, or if you again, we don't normally do rankings all the time, but just to put out, if you're going to give us like, what's it out of 10? What would you give this one?
A good solid 8.5, I'd say. This was a well above average show, yeah. Yeah,
I don't know what it is. It's just like all the matches were good. Like all the matches were at least like you always had the standout ones with the MGF and sort of like Jungle Boy was great. We had the women's title match was definitely one of the best women's matches I've seen. I know it might not be what some people would say is the best, but it's one of the best ones I've seen. It's actually felt important for a change.
Yeah.
The world title was great. Obviously, the Stadium Stampede match was just unbelievable.
Bonkers.
In such an awesome way. But I said 8 out of 10. It's definitely what I needed. Definitely what it's like. Not watching it for just because you have to, slugging through it. Just watching it because it's actually really entertaining. So
absolutely, it doesn't feel like a chore to watch.
But yeah, so yes, so we've done it, mate, in sort of like nearly 2.5 hours.
Nearly 2.5 hours. This episode is longer than the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Yes, pretty much.
Another hour, it would have been longer than this show, than Double or Nothing.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we could. The way when we have conversations, we probably could chat for 4 hours to 3 hours.
We could do.
3.5. But I don't know if it's something. But the question is, do people want to hear that?
Well, it's up to them to decide. We'll put a poll up if they want us to just natter on about utter bollocks for an hour. They probably don't. They probably got other things to crack on with.
True, but you never know. Might be a thing. But yeah. So this is So with this AEW and Double Nothing. Yeah, hopefully. I think their next. When's their next pay-per-view? Because they don't do it like WWE like every month.
I think the next pay-per-view is in September for All Out.
Yeah, that's nothing they do as well. It's just like sort of like they spread them out, like sort of like the old days. Like they only have like 3 or 4 pay-per-views a year, sort of at the moment. So it's like they can build up. But I don't know. It's just maybe I don't want to come across as sort of like, you know, like the people on the internet saying, "Oh, you just like you never criticize AEW." It's like because.
But we've been critical. We've been critical of AEW. I've been critical of AEW in this episode.
Not us personally, not you and me, but like that's the thing on you sometimes hear on like big like wrestling personalities that sort of talk about it. They sort of like just because they always speak positively about AEW, everyone thinks that you're just like, you know, AEW mark. It's like no, it's just they're doing most of the stuff they do is good. They do make mistakes, but 9 times out of 10 it's pretty decent. That's why. I don't get the mindset, especially with fans. I mean, if you don't like WWE, fine, you don't like WWE. But I don't get the fans like hugely on like the side of the fence, like I'm only AEW, I'm only WWE, fuck AEW, fuck WWE, whatever. It's like, you can enjoy all the products. It is available to watch, and especially now. This isn't the Monday Night Wars where you have to decide what you want to watch. You know, this is you can watch it any time. That's the luxury of the day and age we live in now. You can have your preferences, yeah. You don't have to watch all the shows, but you've got an option, you know. I know we live in a choice world where you can choose what you watch. You don't, you know, you could, or you can watch all of it.
Yeah, but you don't have to say you. Yeah, you don't have. It's the mindset of you can only watch this one, or we only watch this one. You know, you can watch all of it if you're going to.
I know. Just find the time to watch it all. But yeah, love. I mean, all I'm saying is, I would say, and obviously at the moment we can do it because obviously at the moment. We're stuck indoors a lot, but we'll have to do more AEW content. But it's like find the time because obviously eventually we'll go back to work eventually, right?
Hopefully.
So yes, but yeah, so that's our AEW Double or Nothing 2020 view. Obviously, I either put this on. It depends on how long this video is. It'll be a video on YouTube, or we'll put it on Mixcloud. So it's like a sort of like special on there. Sort of that kind of stuff.
But either way, we'll keep you posted of where you can find our review. If you follow us on Twitter at Josh and Stu Pod, you'll find all the details of where you can listen to this podcast. Although that piece of information was probably irrelevant because you've already found this podcast. You've already heard this. But keep up to date anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, so unless you've skipped the entirety and just went right to the end, just so you can get, you know, find out an address. But I don't know why you would do that, but anyway. But
I thought you did.
No, I sent them to you.
Yeah, I thought you were going to put them up.
When's that ever been a thing? I always like...
You created the image to put up, I thought.
No, it's not. It's fine. It's not a big deal.
We'll put it up, don't worry.
I'll just take the blame.
We've got plenty of time. Well, it is your fault. But we'll... Well, you said you take the blame, so there we go. But yeah, we'll put the scores up. We've, I guess the next time we'll be back for a review would be Backlash, which is mid-June, I think or early June. Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking if we can, obviously, if we still like got the time, it was like, is the In Your House NXT pay-per-view like out before the Backlash one?
I have absolutely no idea.
I think it is, but I guess possibly might be able to, if we're obviously free for it, and obviously not like.
Well, I've got bugger all else to do, so why not?
Yeah. I mean, again, NXT and everything want to do more as well, because obviously it's like that's good wrestling as well. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're not back for that, definitely be back for a Backlash. That should be interesting. Interesting, yes. Interesting to see if they this new where they're copying, taking elements of AEW and see if they what they do with it.
Yes, well, we've got Backlash to look forward to. They're hyping up Edge and Orton as potentially the greatest wrestling match ever. Really?
No, don't fall for it.
What the hell is that? I'm not falling for it. I think it's dumb.
I know what they're trying to do.
It's so dumb. It's the greatest wrestling match ever to promote it, I guess. But you don't need to promote it. It's Edge and Orton. You just need a good story. It's the greatest match ever. As soon as you say that, people are going to watch it and just instantly go and find critiques. It's like if you show something, think, oh, watch this. This is really, really funny. And go, oh, yeah, okay, make me laugh. You instantly have that kind of mindset. Let the fans decide what the greatest match is. Do the match, and then we'll be the judge of that. Yeah,
I don't know if it's just it is reek of that. They're kind of like they're trying to troll us because they know we're going to be outraged by it. So they're trying to mess with us. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
I know I didn't need it, but I don't know. Maybe it's just they just think. Maybe it might now. I was gonna say maybe it might be the greatest wrestling match of all time or something, whatever. But it won't be. But yeah, it's a weird title. I'll give you that. But yeah, I mean, we're interested to see what they do with that, and then we'll be back for that, and hopefully NXT, and hopefully more AEW stuff, hopefully in the future, because this was fun. I enjoyed talking about AEW like this.
Yes, it was good fun. It'd be great to hear your thoughts as well. Let us know what you think again on our Twitter at JoshandStewPod, or if you want to be a bit more formal or know something a little bit more about the podcast or anything else that we do, you can email at joshandstewpodcast@gmail.com. And if you are going to message us as well, in light of recent events, remember to not be a dick and try and be kind on Twitter and other kinds of social media, because you don't know what someone's going through.
Indeed.
So that's my little note to end on. And I thoroughly enjoyed Double or Nothing. I hope you enjoyed it too. And I also thoroughly enjoyed reviewing the show with you, Stu.
Oh, thank you. It says you should end it being nice, not being like.
There we go. There we go. See?
There you go.
Hashtag be kind. Hashtag don't be a dick.
Yes.
Hashtag damn it, Stu. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
There you go. There he is. Wouldn't be an end of the show without just blaming me for something. So, but yes. Anyway, so that's. I think we're talking long enough. So,
Yes.
I've been Stuart Van.
I've been Joshua Plummer.
We'll be back hopefully we'll be back soon. So see you later, guys. See you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.